The following is a special Wayne Hills Television sports presentation.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Patriot Stadium, where tonight the 0-4 Golden Knights of Old Tappan ride in to play your Wayne Hills Patriots. I'm Dan Cohen, alongside Brian DeBow and John Vitas. Well, guys, the Golden Knights of Old Tappan coming into this game kind of down. They were expected to be the number 2 team in the division. Unfortunately, they're 0-4. Guys, coming to this game, the Patriots are clearly the favorites. What's your prediction for tonight's game, Brian?
I'm definitely seeing a lot of passing. Last week, the running game didn't work as well as they would have hoped, with Brian Dowling only getting 65 rushing yards. It's not the 150 rushing yard games he's used to. But I'm looking for Mike Quinn really to step up tonight and make a lot of passes, get a lot of touchdown passes. Overall, I'm seeing the score. It's probably going to be like 49-28.
John, what do you think?
Well, last year, Old Tappan lost 2 emotional games to Wayne Hills in the playoffs and in the regular season. Both were great games. I think they're going to come in looking for a revenge game tonight against Wayne Hills. I think they come out firing on all aspects of the game, and I think they'll hold it close at the beginning. I think maybe 14-0, 17-0 around halftime, but Wayne Hills should pull away in the second half. They're a much better team all around. I think final score maybe around 45-0, 45-3 if Old Tappan gets lucky.
Well, guys, right now, let's jump into it. Key players. My key players for tonight are the cornerbacks, Ronnie Drees and Justin Horahan. The biggest task on defense will be how to stop 6'3" wide receiver Brian Stankiewicz. He's a huge threat with his height, and he towers over the cornerbacks for the Patriots. But as we know, the cornerbacks on the Patriots, Horahan and Drees, have great speed and great jumping ability. It'll be a battle between Stankiewicz and the cornerbacks, as the Patriots do not match up cornerbacks with wide receivers. Depending on what side Stankiewicz lines up on, that will determine which cornerback, Horahan or Drees, will cover him. John, who are your key players for tonight?
Well, my key player is also Ronnie Drees. He comes in, he got hurt in the first game against Northern Highlands. He hasn't played offense since that. He played defense last week at corner against Mawa. He had some big plays, some big pass deflections. I think he'll be an X factor again on defense. But look to him to make an impact on the offensive side of the ball tonight, because he's going to get a lot more carries. He's going to start over Brian Dowling. I think he can make a big impact. He's a talented running back. He's going to get more carries than Dowling maybe in this game. So look for him to make some big plays on offense and open up the scoring for Hills.
And Brian, who's your key player for tonight?
My key player, no surprise, is Mike Quinn. I mean, he's only a junior quarterback, but he's getting really comfortable in the pocket, as you've seen. And he's not only limited to that, he's able to go outside the pocket, scramble, make some runs, and break some tackles. He has 166 yards per game, which is outstanding for a junior quarterback. 5 touchdowns, which in a 4-0 season is pretty good. It's more than 1 touchdown throw a game. So he's pretty consistent. That's why he's going to be my key player for tonight. But speaking of Mike Quinn, we're going to go to our weekly edition of Outside the Pocket, so let's take a look. Hello and welcome to Outside the Pocket. I'm Brian DeBow, joined by Mike Quinn, the starting quarterback of your Wayne Hills Patriots. Mike, last week you guys defeated Mawa. This week you have Old Tappan. Now, Old Tappan is off to a rocky start. They're 0-4. They haven't won a single game so far. Knowing that, does it change the mentality of the game at all?
No, it really doesn't. Any team we play, we're still going to practice 100%. We're going to go Monday through Friday with watching films, running hard, hitting hard, and just going over all their plays and all their defenses and all their offenses.
Now, last season, you guys defeated Old Tappan twice in the season, once in the playoffs, once in the normal season. You eliminated them in the semifinals, so I'm sure they're going to have a grudge. But do you think they're going to bring that in the game towards Wayne Hills?
Most likely, if I would really feel bad for anyone that eliminated us from the playoffs. We would come back and we would play them as hard as we could. We put everything on the line, so I know that they might do the same.
Now, last week versus Mawa, the rushing game sort of failed. Dowling only had about 65 yards, which is okay, but it's not Dowling yards when he was averaging 150 yards per game before that. So the team sort of fell back on the passing game, and you definitely stepped up to the plate. You were ranked 5th in the state in passing yards with 230 yards during that game. Now, do you wish that you're going to be throwing as much as you did last week, knowing you threw 18 for 28?
Well, you can never tell what's going to happen with the running game or the passing game, But versus Old Tappan, I know our line is a lot better than them, a lot stronger, and a lot more physical. So our running game looks like it can be full-fledged again, and our passing game is always really good.
Now, Ronnie came back last week. He only played defense. He didn't play running back, so he played corner. And he got a fumble recovery off a hit by Waller, ran it back for a touchdown, 46 yards. How much of an asset do you think he's going to be at running back this week, since there's speculation that he's going to come back at running back?
There's going to be a lot of confusion with him and Dowling. Old Tappan's not going to know who's going to play, who's not going to play. But I think Ronnie's going to do really well. It's a really good team to come back on. Old Tappan, they're not very good, but it's going to boost his confidence and it's going to get him where he wants to be. And that 46-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, that was just key to our game versus Mawa. It just made us have a lot more energy, made us look alive.
Now, last week was the MSG game of the week, and the announcers during the game compared you to a young Brett Favre. I'm not sure if you see that as a good thing or a bad thing, but obviously it's a compliment. He's going to be into the Hall of Fame, legendary quarterback. Do you see the comparison between you and a young Brett Favre?
Well, Brett Favre is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and I don't know if I'm up there as one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but I think it's a real good compliment. I think it's just going to make me play harder, and it's only going to make me try to do better and try to actually become a young Brett Favre in the NFL.
I'm not sure if you'll make it to the NFL, but
Yeah.
We'll definitely see. Now, Old Tappan, their biggest weapon, they're not that strong of a team, as I said before, they're 0-4. But their strongest weapon on offense is their 6'4" receiver. What does the defense have to do this week to shut him down?
Our D-backs and our safeties, they have to play him tight. They have to hit him off the line. They can't let him run down the field straight. So we have to jam him a lot. We have to make him go off his routes and not run the right routes. But I think our defense is going to prevail, and I really don't think he's going to have many catches over Ogden, the block, Ronnie, Justin.
All right, Mike, thank you for your time. When we come back, we're going to have kickoff, so stay tuned.
Emotionally, look at Greg. Wow, he's just ecstatic. He can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
So with 10 seconds left to go, Monahan's gonna have to knee it one more time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it is over. Wayne Hills is the 2002 Group 3 North 1 State Championship, their first ever state championship, and what a fantastic end to an amazing season for Wayne Hills.
And you know what? Craig Olson has won a state title for his father, Chris Olson, and first one in Wayne Hills history.
Defensive starting team. At defensive end, number 59, Paul Drake, number 59. At defensive tackle, number 64, Nick Zumanello, number 64. At defensive tackle, number 55, Ryan Salerno, number 55. At defensive end, number 86, Ryan Dixon, number 86. At linebacker, number 8, Mike Waller, number 8. At linebacker, number 45, Ryan Dadurno, number 45. At linebacker, number 44, James DeDelectis, number 44. At linebacker, number 13, Albert Valzarano, number 13. At cornerback, number 23, Ronnie Reese, number 23. At safety, number 80, Matt DeBlock, number 80. And at quarterback, number 5, Ryan Ogden, number 5. And let's welcome the rest of the Wayne Hills Patriots squad. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you now please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem by the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band.
Welcome back, everybody, to Patriots Stadium. And now we'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the fourth member of our broadcasting team, Mike Bowenick. Mike, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. And my key player of the game today is Brian Ogden. He's had a great season so far with 3 touchdowns in 4 games. And I think Mike Quinn really looks for him in situations where he's scrambling and on the run under pressure. So look for him to have another big game today. Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Mike. Now, Brian, John, so Ronnie Dries makes his return tonight on the offensive side of the ball. How do you think he'll fare tonight on offense, his first time since the opening game of the season?
I really don't see Ronnie having any trouble at all. I mean, he's captain of this team for a reason. He's not going to have any trouble. He's touched the ball 4 times overall this season, one of them being on defense. 2 out of those 4 times he has scored a touchdown. I mean, I think that just speaks for itself. He's a dominant player, and I think he's going to have absolutely no problem tonight.
I completely agree, Brian. I think Ronnie's going to have a big night. He came into the season highly hyped about his senior year at running back. And like you said, in his first game, 3 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown. He can break a big run whenever he needs to. And he might be on a little bit of a short leash tonight if he's hurting. But I think Coach Olson waited till he was 100% to get him in the starting lineup.
Well, the Patriots come in tonight coming off a huge victory against the Mahwah Thunderbirds last week. The Old Tappan Golden Knights, not the same story. They come back from a tough loss to a really strong Pascack Valley team. They come in 0-4, and they were supposed to be a lot better. They were predicted to be the number 2 team in this division, only behind Wayne Hills. What do you guys think happened? Why is this team failing? Why are they not fulfilling their potential?
I think it's really due to non-quarterback step-up. I mean, their quarterback isn't known for much. The biggest player on their team is a 6'4" receiver. I mean, that's not saying much, considering Wayne Hills has so many valuable tools on offense. I mean, Old Tappan, I think they're just really lacking the talent this year.
I think it might be a little hangover from last year. I mean, they lost to Wayne Hills in the semifinals. That might be affecting them into this season. They lost a lot of players on both sides of the ball, and they came out with losses against Ramapo and Ramsey, 2 teams that really are not that special. So I don't think Old Tappan's that good of a team this year. I mean, they're going to have to step it up tonight. I think they're looking forward to this game. They've highlighted on the calendar. Every time a team comes in here to play Wayne Hills, they want to play spoiler and come out with a win.
The Golden Knights have won the coin toss, and they have deferred to the second half. So the Patriots from Wayne Hills will receive the opening kickoff of the first half and start on offense with the ball. Ronnie Drees and Justin Horahan will most likely start off back to receive this kickoff for the Patriots. Number 14, the quarterback, Mike O'Reilly. It appears that he's going to take the kickoff.
It's pretty odd seeing a quarterback taking the kickoff. He must not. I'm not sure if he's the starting quarterback. I don't think he is, but it's pretty odd seeing a quarterback coming to kick it off. And it seems like they're going to run right out of the huddle into the kickoff like the Tennessee Titans do.
I was incorrect. It appears that the kickoff deep men for the Patriots will be number 5, Brian Ogden, and number 23, Ronnie Drees. Rather, that might be number 22, Tom DeBianca. Either way, we're ready for football. As Mike O'Reilly, the quarterback, will take the opening kickoff for the Golden Knights. It's up. A rather shallow kick fielded by Ronnie Drees at the 15. Ronnie Drees cutting up field, and he's taken down about the 32-yard line. Good return for the Patriots as they head out on offense, 1st and 10 from their own 32. Let's go to the offensive lines for your Wayne Hills Patriots. Mike Quinn, the quarterback for the Patriots, the junior, runs to the huddle. 1st and 10 for the Patriots from the 34-yard line. Quinn under center. James DeLectis moves into motion. The hand is to Drees as he runs to his left, finds an opening, breaks through, and he's tackled at the 48-yard line. Strong opening run by Ronnie Drees, a gain of about 14.
I think that play answers the question right now that Ronnie Drees is back to 100% health. And if that's a preview of things to come, I mean, he was almost gone on that play. There was one defender that was able to take him down. But I think he's going to have a big night tonight.
I like that call by Coach Olson, giving it to Ronnie Drees right off the bat, knocking those cobwebs off on the offensive side of the ball. A nice run by him, 1st down for the Patriots.
Gain of 15 for Drees. 4 receivers to the right. Quick pass is completed to Ronnie Drees. Ronnie runs at the middle, and he's tackled for a short gain of maybe 1 or 2.
It's only been 2 plays, but it appears Wayne Hills will look to go to Drees early and often in this one, trying to get him into the offense as much as they can.
Number 10, senior Dan Zanone, made that tackle. Zanone is a big offensive player. We'll see him getting most of the reps at tailback for the Golden Knights tonight. 2 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Sends James DeLectis in motion. Play action, Quinn back to pass, looking left, throws the field, complete to Brian Ogden at the 40-yard line. Ogden running up the left side of the field, and he's tackled down at the 21-yard line of the Golden Knights. Huge reception there for the Patriots.
I like the play action called by Mr. Olson tonight. I mean, that was just fabulous. Mike Quinn sold that run really well, and then he had a wide open Brian Ogden to make the completion.
Yeah, Quinn had a great play fake on that one, and Ogden made a nice over-the-shoulder catch and hauled it in, and he had space in front of him, and he took advantage of it.
1st and 10 for the Patriots as they've cruised down the field with ease so far. 2 wide receivers set for the Patriots. The hand is to Dries as he cuts it back again, getting a few extra yards on the second effort. 5-yard gain by Ronnie Dries.
You can see Dries' ankle looks pretty good as he made 2 very nice cuts on that play, so he appears to be very strong coming out of the locker room here in the first half.
It'll be 2nd and 10. I'm sorry, excuse me, it'll be about 2nd and 6 for the Patriots. Dries in the backfield, Horhan and Ogden at the wide receiver slots. Play action, Mike Quinn rolling to his right, passes complete to the tight end, Brian Dickman. Brian Dickman, touchdown! As Brian Dickman, the tight end, makes that catch for the touchdown, the Wayne Hills Patriots take a 6-0 lead.
That's a great job, an early touchdown in the game for the Patriots. Once again, they went with the run fake, which Quinn did a great job selling. And we've seen in the past games that he is comfortable in the pocket, but he's able to roll out to his right and throw on the run, as you saw in the last play.
A very dominating drive by the Patriots coming out in the early going here. Really made a statement on offense. They were open up an early lead.
Tim Divers for the PAT. Through the uprights and good as the Wayne Hills Patriots take an early 7-0 lead with 10 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. That drive was only 1 minute and 49 seconds. That's a quick score. What do you guys think that means for the rest of the game? A score that quick?
I mean, if that's a preview of what's to come, it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think my prediction was like 48. I mean, we might see higher than that. We'll see how Old Tappan is able to respond on offense on this. It will be pretty interesting to see who will be dominant, the Wayne Hills defense or the Old Tappan offense.
If Old Tappan had any confidence coming into this one, it was just crushed because Wayne Hills went the length of the field almost and under 2 minutes. And I believe about 7 plays. Every play they picked up a huge chunk of yards. You saw Mike Quinn with great play fakes and Ronnie Dries making moves, just another weapon in the Wayne Hills offense. I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with tonight.
Spectacular job by the Patriots to spread the ball around on offense on the previous drive. Passes were thrown to Ronnie Dries, Brian Ogden, and Brian Dickman, 3 different players, and carries done by Ronnie Dries. That's a good job of spreading the offense. Tim Divers will be on for this kickoff as he kicks from his own 40-yard line. A booming kick down the field by Divers. It's fielded at the 5-yard line by the Old Tappan deep man. And the Old Tappan kick returner is tackled down at about the 24-yard line. Solid run there by the Golden Knights.
Great job there by Old Tappan to break through the Wayne Hills defense. Any kickoff return that's taken past the 20-yard line is considered a success. But I mean, what happens now is really the key to what's going to be the preview for tonight for the Old Tappan offense.
Sophomore Nick Massey got in on that tackle, laying a nice hit on the Old Tappan return man.
It appears that we're actually going to see the freshman quarterback, Devin Fuller, 6 feet 160. And yeah, it is indeed Devin Fuller. So the freshman Fuller will start a quarterback, not O'Reilly. Zanone in the backfield. I'm sorry, Zanone in motion. The ball is Fuller running out to the right, complete to Zanone on the bootleg for a gain of about 15.
It's a risky call by the Old Tappan coaches to bring in a freshman quarterback. I mean, you don't see that very often, but I mean, since they are 0-4, I guess it is time to try something new. If they have any hopes of going to the playoffs, now is the time for them to win. So maybe this freshman quarterback is the key they need to maybe beat Wayne Hills, but I really don't see that happening tonight. I don't think any quarterback in the world is going to let them win.
Big Brian Stankiewicz down at the bottom of your screen. He's number 9. Fuller under center. Zanone in motion. The give is up the middle. Short gain of maybe 2 or 3 there for the Golden Knights.
Good job by the interior Wayne Hills line, not getting pushed back and holding their ground on that play. They stopped them for a short gain.
Ryan DiDerno on the tackle. Pick up of 3, 2nd and 7.
Fuller in the gun for the Golden Knights. 4 wide receivers. Zanone moves in motion, and we're gonna have this play blown dead. Timeout called by the Patriots.
I think the Patriots didn't like that there were so many receivers on the field, and there was another one coming in motion to the left. I mean, maybe they were in man, not in coverage, looking for the run on 2nd and 7. So it's a great job by Olsen to recognize that and call the timeout. It's a great job by the upper coaches to recognize that. You're going to want to waste a timeout rather than have a bomb downfield that you're not prepared for. And in the end, those points add up.
Yeah, a good job by the coaches to not allow their team to be caught in confusion as they were in the secondary. Some players out of position, they weren't matched up properly, and Coach Olsen called a timeout. I think that was a good call.
Well, so far, the Golden Knights of Old Tappan have done a pretty good job so far on offense, spreading the ball around. The Wayne Hills defense will be tested tonight, as the one thing about the Old Tappan Golden Knights, they haven't had trouble scoring this year. They've had trouble keeping the other team off the board. They put up 23 points last week against a strong Pascack Valley team. So we can expect to see some good things from their offense. 8:59 remaining in this opening quarter. Fuller under center. Fuller sends Zanone in motion. The hand is to Zanone. Zanone running to the left side. He has some room to run, and he's tackled out of bounds at about the 43-yard line of the Patriots. Strong run by Dan Zanone, a first down.
Nice run there by Zanone. I think from last week we've learned that the Patriots aren't that good at defending the trick plays. They aren't really great at seeing when they're coming, as last week there was a toss pass down deep for the end zone and they scored. So Patriots maybe need to pick up a little bit on this and detect when those trick plays are coming.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Old Tappan from the Patriots' 43-yard line. Fuller under center. Fuller back to pass, quick throw right. It's complete to the 6'3" wide receiver, Brian Stankiewicz, for a gain of about 9.
Great job there by Ronnie Drees making the tackle. I mean, obviously Stankiewicz has a big lead over him. He's 6'4". Ronnie's, I think, about 5'8". I mean, he's obviously not going to be able to jump up over Stankiewicz since he is coming in at 6'4". He's not going to be able to deflect that ball. The most he could do is let him catch it, try to get somebody underneath to block it, and then just make the tackle.
2nd and 1 for the Golden Knights. Devin Fuller in the gun. Man in motion. Fuller's going to take it for himself, runs up the middle. He's tripped down for a short gain, but he will have enough for the first down.
We've seen Old Tappan early on so far, putting a lot of slot backs in the backfield, some guys going in motion, trying to mix up the playbook a little bit and catch Wayne Hill's defense a little bit off guard. So far, they've gotten a few nice plays, but Wayne Hill's defense has held strong in the middle.
Another first down for Old Tappan is they're moving down the field pretty easily so far. Stankiewicz on the bottom of your screen, covered by Brian Ogden right now. Fuller sends Victor on in motion, and we're gonna have a flag thrown down for probably a false start in illegal motion. And it is on the Golden Knights of Old Tappan. It is a false start, so that'll set the Golden Knights back 5 yards.
It's back to basics football. I mean, we've seen it week after week. There's been a lot of flags thrown on this high school field. I mean, we will see if Wayne Hills has as much trouble as the other teams have been having with the flags. But I think that Old Tappan really needs to just play dominant football, play basic football, and realize that you can't make stupid mistakes like that where the yards will add up.
Old Tappan working from the Patriots' 37-yard line. 1st and 15, Fuller in the gun. 4 wide receivers. Sends Victor on in motion, and the hand is actually to Dan Zanone for a short gain. They gain back maybe 3 or 4 of the yards that were lost. And now let's take a look at the defensive lineups for your Wayne Hills Patriots.
Paul Drake, number 59.
Ryan Salerno, number 55.
Nick Tuminello, number 64.
Brian Dickman, number 86.
Mike Waller, number 8.
Ryan DiDerno, number 45.
James Dialectis, number 44.
Albert Falzerano, number 13.
Ronnie Drees,
number 23.
Brian Ogden, number 5.
Matt DeBlock, number 80.
It'll be 2nd and 12 for the Golden Knights. Zanone, Stankiewicz, and On are the wide receivers for the Golden Knights. Fuller sends Victor On in motion, fakes to him, goes over the middle, and it's complete to Dan Zanone as he's tackled down. Gains maybe 6 or 7 yards, and it's going to be 3rd and short.
Zanone just made a statement on that catch. I mean, after he takes it, he delivers a hit to Brian Ogden and lays him out, which isn't an easy task. I mean, Brian Ogden's a big, crucial component of this Wayne Hills defense, and if he's able to bring him down and shut Brian Ogden down on those tackles, that's going to play a big part in tonight's game.
Old Tappan's gotten a lot of their yardage on the outside, sweep runs, and on that play, Wayne Hills guarded the outside, brought some pressure, and left the middle of the field open where the linebackers would normally be, and the freshman quarterback from Old Tappan was able to find the opening.
It'll be a short 3rd down conversion attempt here for the Golden Knights. And we're going to have this play blown dead, and we're going to have a timeout taken by Old Tappan. Well, that gives us an opportunity to send it down to our sideline reporter, Mike Bowenick. Mike, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. And you saw a touchdown run a few minutes ago. It was a great passing play to score a touchdown, but that passing play was set up by the run. The run is established by Ronnie Dries, who's making his return as running back, and he's already begun his return well by running a few good runs. He's running hard, looking healthy, looking good. Hopefully he'll be able to continue the rest of the game. All right, back up to you guys.
Thanks, Mike. And with 5 minutes and 47 seconds to go in this opening quarter, the Wayne Hills Patriots lead 7-0. But for how long? Since the Old Tappan Golden Knights have been moving down the field pretty easily so far. What have you guys seen from the Wayne Hills Patriots defense that may be allowing the Golden Knights to succeed so far?
I think it's the secondary. They were expecting the pass, but I think that Old Tappan threw them off with starting a freshman quarterback. So now they're trying to determine whether they're going to be running the ball dominantly or they're going to be passing. They've done a pretty good job of mixing it up tonight, and they've been successful on both sides.
I think Wayne Hills might have been a little bit complacent and confident going into this on defense. I mean, Old Tappan definitely surprised them, picking up maybe 3 or 4 first downs on this opening drive. It's a testament to their offense because Wayne Hills' defense is very solid. They're always a great defense, and giving up just 49 points in 4 games so far this year, it's very surprising to see a team like Old Tappan, who's 0-4, march the ball down the field against them. I'm very surprised to see this.
Number 44, Ray Donnelly, is the tailback. Victor On goes in motion, and the hand is to Ray Donnelly as he gains a short amount. Did he have? Let's see if he has enough for the first down. I don't think he has enough. He doesn't. It's going to be 4th and 1.
That was a big stop by the Wayne Hills defensive line to stop that run for the first down. Now they're going to have to settle for the field goal, which it isn't that easy of a field goal. It's going to be about a 37-yarder, which is a hard task for a high school kicker. We'll see if he's able to pull it out or if they're just going to go for it on 4th and 1.
You have to give some credit to Ryan Salerno and Nick Tuminello, the 2 big guys in the middle, defensive tackles, have been plugging up the middle of the field the whole game and haven't given Old Tappan any runs up the middle so far.
And the Golden Knights are going for on 4th and 1. Play action as that pass is complete for the first down. Conversion there by Devin Fuller and the Golden Knights of Old Tappan.
Risky call by the official right there. I mean, it didn't seem that he had possession when he was going to the ground. He was bobbling the ball. He could have caught the ball with the ground's help. I mean, but as we all know, there is no review in the high school football, so that call is going to stand. And this drive will continue, possibly for 6 points.
The freshman from Old Tappan, Devin Fuller, has really impressed me so far. He's been cool and composed as the quarterback, and he's been running this offense very confidently. It's a testament to his maturity as a quarterback.
First down from the Patriots 20 for the Golden Knights. Victor On moves in motion. Play action to On. Fuller moving to his left. Throws, and it's complete to number 44, Ray Donnelly, at the 16-yard line. And he's tackled down hard by Mike Waller. Good tackle by Waller. But another productive gain there for the Golden Knights.
The Patriots are unable to stop this Old Tappan offense. I mean, they keep running the I formation, motion, reverse, and they're just fooling them every time. And it's been productive so far. We're going to see what's going to happen, but Wayne Hill's defense is definitely going to have to step up if they want to win this game.
Yeah, that was a nice catch by Donnelly going up the ladder, reaching up and grabbing that one. Soft hands by him. But a good job by the Wayne Hill secondary to close in on him as there'll be a measurement here.
We're we're going to have an official timeout here as the chain gang comes out for an official measurement to see if Ray Donnelly had enough for the first down after being tackled by Mike Waller. If he does have enough for the first down, it should be first and goal. It's tough to tell. If it's not going to be first and goal, they probably can get a first down inside the 1. So, and it is indeed a first down, so we'll see how this affects. It's going to be 1st and 10, so it looks like they will be able to gain one more first down close in.
It was nice to see that Wayne Hills was able to come out right away and score a touchdown big on the first few plays. Old Tappan seems to be controlling the time of this game. I mean, they're controlling their clock. They're marching downfield. They're taking a long time doing it. This could be the demise of the Patriots, but I highly doubt it.
That is a first down.
So 1st and 10 for the Golden Knights. 3 wide receivers in for Fuller. Victor on moves in motion. Fuller looking to run, running up the middle. He's got room to run, and he's tackled down short of the end zone by a host of Patriots.
A nice job by Ryan DiDerno, the linebacker, coming in. The quarterback made a nice spin move on the first man to come in and make that tackle, but DiDerno was there to close the door.
It'll be 2nd and 4 with 3.5 minutes to go in this opening quarter for the Golden Knights as they are moving down the field quite easily. They've only had 1 4th and short conversion.
This is the spot where you got to look for Stankiewicz for Old Tappan with his height, possibly a fade because he's overmatched on size-wise on the Patriots corners.
Zanone goes in motion. Rolling out to his right is the quarterback, Fuller. Is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Golden Knights of Old Tappan as they cut the lead down to 7-6. Good run there by Devin Fuller as he takes it in for himself.
Momentum definitely plays a key, crucial part in this high school football. And Old Tappan just took any momentum that Wayne Hills had on that fast drive. They took their time and just kept ramming the ball down Wayne Hills' throats. Wayne Hills needs to come back right now and respond with a quick score and show that they're not afraid.
A methodical drive from Old Tappan. Very surprising. Wayne Hills' defense going to have to stiffen up now as it looks like they're going to do a swinging gato here for Old Tappan.
The backup quarterback, Mike O'Reilly, will attempt the PAT for the Golden Knights. The starting quarterback, Devin Fuller, will hold for the backup quarterback, Mike O'Reilly. The kick is up. It's low, but it's through as the Golden Knights tie this game at 7 with exactly 3 minutes to go in this opening quarter of play.
Although he made that extra point, it seems the kicker did have a little trouble making it through the uprights on just an extra point, which may be crucial in the later part of the game, showing that he might not be able to knock down a game-winning field goal from about 25 yards out, where Wayne Hill's side, Tim Divers, I mean, they have full confidence in the 25-yard kick. He was kicking 45-yarders at the beginning of the game.
I think you may see Wayne Hills going a little bit more conservative possibly on their play calling, wanting to take that momentum away from Old Tappan. A big play would definitely do that, but they're going to be bearing down on offense and trying to get whatever points they can because tie score with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. I don't think too many people predicted this.
So the Wayne Hills Patriots will have their second opportunity to go on offense, and we'll see if they move the ball as easily as they did on their first drive, because we saw on that first drive they just blitzed through that Old Tappan defense. The Golden Knights had nothing to stop them.
Tom DiBianca and Brian Ogden are deep for
Brian Ogden and Tom DiBianca are the deep men awaiting the ball for the Patriots. O'Reilly for the kick. And it's a low kick. And it's going to roll into the end zone. And of course, that will cause play to be dead in high school football. Once that ball enters the end zone on a kickoff, the play is blown dead. You cannot return a ball from the end zone. It's an automatic touchback.
That is not the play you want. We were talking about gaining that momentum back and coming back with a strong drive. You don't want the ball bobbling through your legs and going into the end zone for a touchback. I mean, that's not what the Patriots wanted on this kickoff. They want chunks of yards. I mean, they've been known for such great kickoff returners like Carlton Marson and Danny DeSico. I mean, you're going to want your defenders to get as far as possible. 20-yard line is not acceptable for the Wayne Hills Patriots.
1st and 10 for the Patriots. The hand is to Ronnie Drees as he's stopped for a short gain of about 1. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Patriots.
I think now is when we should see that bomb from Quinn, and let's see what his arm could really do. I mean, we've seen it 3 times in a row last week from Quinn to Ogden. I think now is the time to unleash that play.
About 2:35 remaining in this opening quarter. The game is tied at 7. The Patriots work from their own 21-yard line, 2nd and 9. 3 wide receivers in for the Patriots. Drees in the backfield. Quinn back to pass, throws left, complete to Brian Ogden as he battles Darius Charles and drags him for a couple extra yards. Productive run there by Ogden.
Well, I said Wayne Hills might come out conservative, on this next drive after Old Tappan marched down and scored a touchdown, and they did on that first play. They set up a design screen to Ogden. It worked out well. I think they're going to stay within themselves on this drive and really put together a long, methodical drive just like Old Tappan did to them and try to take back the momentum in this first half.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Patriots. Tight end Joe Russo and wide receiver Justin Horhan at the bottom of your screen. Quinn fakes the handoff, throws the option to Brian Ogden as he tries to tiptoe down the sideline, but he steps out of bounds. A short gain, maybe no gain or a loss.
I think it would definitely be in the Patriots' favor to score before the quarter, just to restore that momentum. You obviously want a big play at the end of the half, but having one at the end of the quarter would be even bigger.
Yeah, good contain there by the Old Tappan defense. Their corner got around the corner and was able to push Ogden out of bounds. Nice play by them. Wayne Hills may look to throw the ball now as they've come out running so far on this drive.
Number 84, Joe Russo, lined up as a wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Quinn, back to pass, rolling to his left, looking for a receiver downfield. Throws a bullet, and it's complete to Brian Ogden for the first down.
Great job there by Mike Quinn, getting outside of the pocket and throwing a bullet to Brian Ogden, who's open on the out pattern, as we've seen him on the first play of the game.
Yeah, very nice throw by Quinn as he was throwing across his body on that one. Not an easy throw for a young quarterback to make.
You know, John, it's a good point. It's a really tough throw for Quinn, rolling to his weak side and throwing it across his body, but we've seen this year. He's phenomenal at doing that. He's done a great job of that. A lot of quarterbacks can't do that. It's a tough thing to do. Quinn hands off to Drees. Drees running to his right, looking for a room, cuts it back and finds some room, and he's tackled down after the first down.
That's what's great about Ronnie Drees. He's able to break through that line of defenders and get up for plus yards. I mean, with a normal high school running back, that would have been a 3 or 4 yard game, but Ronnie's able to turn it into a first down and a 10-yard game. Great job by Ronnie to break through the defenders.
Yeah, he did not lose a step with that. He hasn't played running back in 3 weeks, but he looks very fresh here. He's a very instinctive runner. If he can be able to come out after not playing the position for 3 weeks and make runs like that, as he found a seam in the defense, was able to go through it and gain a first down.
1:40 remaining in the opening quarter of this matchup between Wayne Hills and Old Tappan. 2 wide receivers, Brian Ogden, Justin Horhan at the bottom of your screen. They play action at Drees. Quinn looks down the field, throwing deep. He's got Brian Dickman. It's complete at the 10-yard line. A deep pass converted to Brian Dickman as Dickman makes his second great catch of the game.
That was the pocket presence I was talking about in our pregame show. Quinn stood tall, comfortable in the pocket for as long as he could, threw a great ball, and he took a hit afterwards. I'm not sure if you saw that on our shot, but that just shows he's willing to take the hit for positive yardage, which is pretty rare in quarterbacks.
Another great throw by Quinn across his body, but how about the catch by Brian Dickman, reaching over the defender and going up over the top and making that play, setting up Wayne Hills with a great chance to score here.
Great job by both Quinn and Dickman on that connection. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Brian Ogden split down the right side of your screen. Covered by Darius Charles. D. Delectus moves in motion to his left. They hand this to Drees as he moves up the middle. Shakes a tackler, still on his feet. Touchdown, Patriots. What a job by Ronnie Drees. Spun off one tackler, stayed on his feet. What a second effort. Touchdown, Patriots. And the Patriots take a 13-7 lead with under a minute to go.
I really can't decipher which item is stronger in the Wayne Hills offense, Mike Quinn's throwing ability or Ronnie Dreese's running ability. I mean, Mike was able to throw the deep ball to get him down there, but spectacular run by Ronnie. He just kept his legs trucking, and he broke about 3 tackles to get into the end zone. Great job by Ronnie and Mike together.
Yeah, Wayne Hills' offense has been very dynamic so far. It looks like we're in for a shootout, guys. 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. It looks like a shootout.
As Tim Divers converts the extra point, and the Wayne Hills Patriots jump out to a 14-7 lead with 59 seconds to go in the first quarter.
It's definitely a huge change from last week. I mean, Wayne Hills was up by 3 in the first quarter. If you look at the scoreboard now, as John said, there's already been 3 touchdowns scored. I mean, we're in for a great game tonight.
This is going to really test the freshman quarterback's poise now, as Wayne Hills has come down and scored 2 easy touchdowns on offense. His maturity is going to be put to the test here. He's going to face adversity now. Down by 7 once again, he's going to have to lead another big drive for the Knights.
Number 2, Jeff Pinelli, and number 30, Darius Charles, appear to be the deep men awaiting this kick for the Golden Knights of Old Tappan, as Tim Divers will take the kick from zone 40 for the Patriots.
Jeff Pinelli and Darius Charles are deep to return the kickoff by Divers.
Darius Charles, number 30, is a junior who is expected to get a lot of reps this year, since Dan Zanone does a lot on defense, and they spread the ball a lot. They spread the ball a lot on offense. So Charles is expecting more reps this year. Another strong high kick by Divers as Darius Charles picks up his own 5-yard line. Does not follow the wedge. He's tackled down by Mike Waller and James DeLectis at the 21-yard line.
Wayne Hills looks energized after that touchdown. They went in there crashing into the wall of the Golden Knights and looked very strong as Waller made the tackle.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for Old Tappan, working from their own 22-yard line. 54 seconds remaining in this opening quarter.
I think now is when we're going to see the Wayne Hills secondary step up and shut down Old Tappan offense and shut down this quarterback.
Keep an eye on the top of your screen. 6'3" Brian Stankiewicz matched up against number 23 for the Patriots, Ronnie Drees. Fuller rolling to his right, looking down the field, possibly for Stankiewicz, and that ball is thrown and dropped there by number 10, Dan Zanone.
Great job there by junior safety Matt DeBlock. He came in, saw it, recognized the pass, came in from the secondary, and was able to deflect the ball and make a tackle at the same time.
Great coverage by the Wayne Hills secondary. All 3 receivers on that side for Old Tappan were not open. They were all covered very well. That was the only opportunity for a possible completed pass for the Golden Knights, and it was batted away by DeBlock.
Old Tappan marches to the line. Ray Donnelly, the big fullback, is the lone man in the backfield. Stankiewicz out at the top of your screen. Victor Ahn moves in motion. The ball is ultimately handed off to Dan Zanone, who's moving down the left side, trying to find room to run, but there's nothing as a host of Patriots, including Brian Ogden, Paul Drake, and James DeLectis, tackle down Zanone.
Great closing speed by Brian Ogden. He came from the other side of the field to make that tackle. A phenomenal play by him, showing off his speed.
No gain on the play, 3rd and 10.
No gain on that play, and it's going to be 3rd and 10. And we'll wait to see if the Golden Knights get another play in this first quarter with 16 seconds and ticking down remaining. And it does not look like they have any intention on playing another play in this opening quarter, as there's now 3 seconds remaining. And that will be the end of the first quarter as the Wayne Hills Patriots jump out to a quick start, taking a 14-7 lead against the Golden Knights. Guys, what do you think about that first quarter?
I think we had a great first quarter. We've seen offense on both sides of the ball. I think in our pregame show, everybody's key player was right. I mean, my player was Mike Quinn's. You had Ronnie Drees. I mean, it's definitely an all-around game tonight. Old Tappan's doing a great job as well on offense, but I think in the end, Wayne Hills will come out victorious. But Old Tappan is a little more than expected.
And right now, we're going to send it out to break, and when we come back, we're going to have the second quarter.
Esposito under center. Esposito back to pass. Good protection, steps up, and that is intercepted at the 5-yard line. That's Toby DeTolo. DeTolo takes it across the 20, down at the 22-yard line, and that is absolutely huge.
Welcome back to Patriots Stadium, where the Wayne Hills Patriots open up the second quarter, leading 13-7, and the Golden Knights of Old Tappan are approached with a 3rd and 10 from their own 23-yard line. 2 wide receivers for the Golden Knights. Forward, back to pass, looking for Brian Stankiewicz, and it's complete. I'm sorry, it's incomplete as Brian Stankiewicz drops that ball. Good job there by Devin Fuller to throw the timing pass, and Brian Stankiewicz ran a good route and broke off of his man, just dropped the ball.
I think Stankiewicz heard the footsteps there, and Matt DeBlock and Albert Falzarano. They're 2 big kids who can deliver a hit. He had a nice lob to him, but he wasn't able to come down with it. That's just back to basics football.
Ronnie Drees got caught turned around over there. He was playing the defender, not the ball, and the ball came short, and he wasn't able to make the adjustment, but the defense was there.
Brian Ogden is deep to return this punt. High snap, but the kick is off. Brian Ogden picks it up at his own 41-yard line, running to his left, lowers his shoulder, but he's tackled there by number 11, Victor Ahn, at about the 50-yard line.
I like the idea of playing number 2, Nick Massey. He's a fullback, a sophomore. I like the fact they're putting him back here for the extra block about 10 yards ahead of Ogden. As we saw in the last game home, Ogden had a little trouble returning those punts and getting positive yards. So maybe that extra fullback blocker is all they really need to get those productive yards.
That 3 and out that Wayne Hills got on Old Tappan, forcing them to punt it after just 3 plays was absolutely huge for Hills' confidence. Maybe they put down Old Tappan, and hopefully if Wayne Hills can get another score here, I mean, that could be the game pretty much.
3 receivers to the right. Quinn in the gun, drops back to pass, rolls to his right. Here comes the pressure, evades a tackler, throws across the field, but it's a little high, intended for Brian Dickman, excuse me. Probably a wise play, as that likely would have been a huge loss.
I'm going to agree with you there, Dan. I mean, Mike, I'm not sure if he saw that or if that was just a bad pass thrown off of his right foot, but if he did catch that, he would have been immediately tackled for a loss of about 6 yards. So it actually helped him that they came away with the incomplete pass.
Yeah, there were 3 streaking defenders for Old Tappan ready to make that tackle, so it's probably a good thing that that pass was incomplete.
In all likelihood, it's safe to say that Mike Quinn most likely threw that ball out of bounds intentionally. 2nd and 10 for the Patriots. Strong formation right with James Delectus and Ryan Drees. It's a quick throw, and it's complete to Justin Hornes. He has room to run over the right side. Attempts to turn the corner, and he's pushed out of bounds. About a gain of 7.
Justin Horan's been pretty quiet in this game so far, but he's right up there with Ogden as the top 2 leading receivers. Before this game, Ogden had 15 receptions for the season. Justin Horan had 14. Ogden has 3 touchdowns. He has 1 touchdown. I mean, it's not a whole lot of difference, but having those 2 kids is a lot of talent and a lot of options for Wayne Hills.
Wayne Hills with so many weapons on offense, especially at receiver. Their best offensive threat so far has not even been in the game, which is Brian Dowling.
Quinn hands off to Ryan Drees, who runs up the middle, and he has enough for the first down. Good run there by Ryan Drees.
And this drive will continue as they make it to about the 36-yard line. I think the Patriots aren't going to be stopped until the second half, maybe offensively. I don't want to jinx them, but
it'll be first down for the Patriots as they work from the Golden Knights' 42-yard line. Matt Rubin, the center, approaches the ball first. Brian Ogden and Justin Horahan, the receivers. I formation behind Quinn. Play action to Drees. Quinn evades 1 tackler, throws deep down the left side of the field, intended for Brian Ogden, and that is complete at the 4-yard line. Brian Ogden went up for that catch, and he snagged it down over number 5, Abraham Lee. Great job there by Brian Ogden.
Mike Quinn, I mean, I just can't say enough about him. That's the 2nd tackle he broke tonight at quarterback. I mean, he realizes that the offensive line will collapse at time, and he can't rely on them to make the blocks. So he's comfortable scrambling out of the pocket. He breaks those tackles, and he threw a beautiful ball considering he was on the run.
That was a highlight reel play for both Quinn and Ogden, both putting together a New York Giants-esque effort there.
1st and goal for the Patriots from their 4. They hand this to Tom DiBianco, number 22, who's using his speed on the right side. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Patriots, as Tom DiBianco uses his blazing speed to turn the corner and cross the front corner of the end zone Touchdown Patriots.
Nice to see Tom DeBianca getting some playing time. I mean, he's the other side of the Wayne Hills running back. He is a running back. He's a senior alongside with Ronnie. He's been splitting time with all three of them until Ronnie came back. But it's great to see him. Nice, powerful run right through the corner.
Yeah, DeBianca showing off his speed there. He was able to turn the corner against the Old Tappan linebackers that were closing in. Nice run by him to get to the corner.
On that play, sure looked like Tom DeBianca had nowhere to run, as it looked like he was going to be tackled for a loss, and he just used that great turning speed and just blew past the Old Tappan defense. And it looks like they're going for 2, so they can have an even 21 points. The toss Ryan Drees left as he cuts up through the field. Touchdown, excuse me, not touchdown, 2-point conversion converted. And that will give the Wayne Hills Patriots 21 points as Ronnie Drees cut it back into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Great execution of that play there. I mean, they fake the handoff to the right and give Ronnie Drees the quick pitch to the left. Perfect execution, 2-point conversion, which will make up for the missed extra point before.
Yeah, good choice by Coach Olson to go for 2 on that one after Divers missed a second extra point. So they're back on track, up by 2 full scores now by 14 overall.
So with just under 11 minutes to go in the second quarter, the Wayne Hills Patriots lead the Golden Knights of Old Tappan 21-7. As again, Darius Charles and Jeff Pinelli are deep for the Golden Knights.
It'll be interesting to see if Old Tappan can bounce back from those back-to-back scores from Wayne Hills. This will be a test of their toughness here.
Line drive kick fielded by Darius Charles. Charles running up the middle, breaks free, and is a strong kick return there by Darius Charles as he gets to about the 36-yard line.
Another tackle in the stat books from Matt DeBlock, this time on kickoff. I mean, he's been an asset to this Wayne Hills defense, let's face it. He's made 2 big tackles on the play. He's been deflecting balls. Great job by Matt DeBlock so far in this game.
That might have been a touchdown-saving tackle from him because the return man for the Golden Knights had a seam right down the middle of the field. There were not too many men behind the block to make the play. So a huge play by him to keep the game a 2-score game.
7-yard kickoff return.
Fuller under center. Dan Zanone in motion. Fuller running to his left, decides to take the option and toss to Zanone as Zanone shoulders him in and is tackled down at about the 42-yard line. A game about 5 or 6.
I think this is a very crucial drive for Old Tappan. They need to respond if they want any chance of coming back in the second half. They need to respond. Before you know it, this Wayne Hills offense will creep up on you. You'll get shutdown after shutdown. You'll be up by 4 touchdowns. I mean, they're going to have to respond right now and come back if they want any shot at this game.
I think Old Tappan's going to have to go to the outside of the field. A lot of their big plays have come on rollouts and sweeps to the outside, so look for them to do more of that in the first half.
2nd and 5 for the Golden Knights. Dan Zanone moves in motion. Fuller running to his left, and that pass is complete to number 11, Victor Ron, as he's tackled hard there by Ronnie Drees, but it's enough for a first down.
It's been Drees and Stankiewicz all night. That was a great hit by Ronnie. As I said before, he doesn't really have much options besides to make the tackle and not let him get any extra added yards. But Ronnie delivered a hit right to the feet as Stankiewicz jumped up and hit his face plant right hard on the ground.
That was a nice touch pass by the quarterback, Fuller, as he had to lob that ball over Tim Waller, who was closing in on him. Courageous play by him. Mike Waller, excuse me.
1st and 10 for the Golden Knights. Stankiewicz at the top of your screen. Victor On moves in motion, and the ball's handed to the fullback, Ray Donnelly, as he tries to crawl for an extra yard, but he's going to be marked down about a gain of 1.
Ray Donnelly on the carry, Mike Waller on the tackle.
Nice tackle there by number 8, Mike Waller. It's a pickup of 2, and it's going to be 2nd and 8 for the Golden Knights. One wide receiver at the top of your screen, that's Brian Stankiewicz in the slot. Dan Zanone moves into motion, play action as is known. Fuller looking for room to run. He breaks through and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good job there by the Wayne Hills defense, and an even better job there by quarterback Devin Fuller as he escaped to get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Great job there by Nick Tuminello to infiltrate, not bite for the pass, and he's able to get the quarterback on the run for about probably a loss of a yard.
The defensive end getting in on that one too, as they were the people who had to cause the quarterback to flush out of the pocket there. Paul Drake and Brian Dickman getting some pressure on the Old Tappan quarterback, which has really caused that play to happen for the Wayne Hills.
And that's really the first time so far this game we've seen the Wayne Hills defense penetrate into the backfield, and that's what they're going to need to do to stop Devin Fuller from scrambling back there and gaining positive yards on his own feet. Ray Donnelly, the fullback, is the lone man behind Devin Fuller. Fuller drops back to pass, steps into the pocket, and that pass is complete to Brian Stankowitz for a gain of about 2 or 3.
Another great job there by Justin Horahan. Another small guy in the Wayne Hills secondary, but he was able to tank Stankowitz in the air and push him back for a minimal gain of about 1.
Yeah, when you have a height deficit like Justin Horahan does on Stankowitz, you got to go low, and that's what he did, and he got Stankowitz down and forced Old Tappan to punt.
Justin Horn and Brian Ogden are deep to return this punt. Interesting to note how on this punt return, the Patriots have 2 deep men, whereas on the first punt return, they only had 1 deep man. The punt is up, and it's a high punt, relatively short, as Brian Ogden touches the ball, but fortunately is able to fall right back on it before the Golden Knights could take over.
Ogden hasn't been successful on these punt returns. I mean, they've been putting extra people out there for blocking. But even then, I mean, I think he got a little nervous with all the Old Tappan white jerseys around him. He needs to contain himself and ignore those jerseys. If he fair catches it, they're not going to hit him. He's got to make that catch. Because sooner or later, that's going to turn into a fumble, and Old Tappan would have had it on the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's a mistake Wayne Hills can just not afford to make up by 2 scores. As the second half winds down, you don't want to give Old Tappan any easy chances to put points on the board.
3 wide receivers in for the Patriots. Quinn, 3-step drop. That pass is complete to Justin Horahan, who's got enough for a first down. What a play, as that ball was deflected off the hands of the intended receiver, Joe Russo, and fell right into the hands of Justin Horahan, and he's able to get the first down.
Fortunately, that play was able to work out this time for the Patriots. But we've seen that play too many times before. Mike Quinn has 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. That 1 interception was from a Joey Russo tip. Pretty identical to that, but this time another Wayne Hills Patriot was able to come down with a Justin Horahan for a productive gain. 1st and 10 for the Patriots.
1st and 10 for the Patriots from their own 33-yard line. Horahan and Ogden are the wide receivers. Ryan Drees is also split out to the right. Quinn back to pass. He's going to take it for himself, looking for room to run, and he's going to be tackled for about a loss of 1 or 2.
I thought Wayne Hills might give Quinn some design runs in this game. He comes into the game in 4 contests with 15 carries for 103 yards. That's a 6.9-yard average. That's very strong for a quarterback. So I thought Wayne Hills might give him a chance to run the ball and show off his agility.
I mean, even if you go back to all the way to those PAL days, I actually used to play football with Mike Quinn, and they called him the Scrambler because he would just always run with the ball. I mean, now his arms developed a little more, so he is able to throw that bomb. But let's not forget, he can run just as strong.
Quinn back to pass, looking for someone to throw to, running to his left, and he's going to keep this for himself as he is tackled down at about the original line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
Depending on that spot, I mean, that's going to give the Patriots probably around 3rd and 7, which is doable for them. Actually, it's going to be 3rd and 11. They didn't give him a generous spot, but we'll see if the Patriots can respond here with a nice pass.
It was a very heads-up play by Quinn again, able to scramble out of the pocket and pick up no gain on the play. If he was sacked, that would have made it a 3rd and long, and it appears to be 3rd and 9. That's much more manageable for Wayne Hills.
Nonetheless, it'll still be a 3rd and long, the first 3rd and long facing the Patriots tonight. Joe Russo, Justin Horahan, and Brian Ogden are the receivers in for the Patriots. Quinn back to pass, looking right, throws to Brian Ogden, and it's complete as Brian Ogden makes the catch at about the 46-yard line. He's tackled down there by a host of Golden Knights. First down, Patriots.
Brian Ogden's definitely a favorite target for Mike Quinn. Mike knows that he could go to him, and Brian Ogden will jump up and find some way to come down with it.
Perhaps Old Tappan a little weary of Ogden's deep ball ability, as Ogden just sat down on a curl and he was wide open. The Old Tappan defender was playing him for maybe a longer route down the sideline.
So the Patriots do convert on the 3rd and long, and now they have 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line. Quinn under center sends James Delectus in motion. The handoff is to Ryan Drees as he runs up the middle. There is a flag thrown down the field. We'll wait to see from the officials what the call is. Considering that they let the play go, that usually indicates maybe an offsides or encroachment on the defense. It will be on the offense, so most likely either a false start or a illegal procedure.
Most likely when we see James Delectus come in motion for that power two-man block, I mean, the Patriots normally run it, as the call will bring them back about 5 or 10 yards.
It was indeed an illegal procedure on the Patriots, as that will set them back about 5 yards, so it should be 1st and 15. Quick passes to Justin Horan to the left. Horan looking for him to run. He has Ogden blocking ahead of him, and he's out of bounds at about the 52-yard line. I'm sorry, not the 52-yard line, the opposing 48-yard line. The 52-yard line does not exist.
It's going to make it about 2nd and 7, 2nd and 5. It's definitely doable. Patriots are keeping this drive alive. They're milking the clock for all they can. It's about 4:52 left in the first half, and I think they're going to take a good portion of that when they complete this drive, hopefully for a touchdown.
Yeah, if Wayne Hills can milk the clock and get another score in here before the half, it's a very big lead. A 3-score lead is huge, especially when you're facing this Patriots defense, who's always good year in and year out.
3 down linemen for the Golden Knights, as they usually have when they play a 3-5. Quinn rolling to his right, looking for a receiver down the field. That pass is complete to Brian Ogden at the 39-yard line. Ogden is taken down at the 35. Another long completion to Brian Ogden. Another first down for the Patriots, and another first down completion to Brian Ogden.
Now, it's been known that the Old Tappan defense likes to go man. They like to go, or otherwise they'll go for a 3-zone coverage. Mike told me that when there is the man, he has the privileges to audible for that deep Ogden pass. I mean, now they've been playing the 3-zone coverage. He's been able to get those curl routes every time, and Old Tappan's just not biting because they don't want that deep ball by Ogden. They've seen how deadly it could be.
Hand off to Ryan Drees as Ryan Drees cuts up the middle looking for a lane to run. He's tackled down for a gain of about 4.
Got to give kudos to the offensive line on the last 2 plays. They were able to give Quinn protection on the last play, and on this one, Christian Abadisian clearing the way through the middle and gave Juice a seam to run through on that play.
2nd and 7 upcoming for the Patriots as Quinn and James Delectus. James Delectus checks in, Ronnie Drees checks out for the Patriots.
When James Delectus checks into the game, that's probably for pass blocking in the shotgun formation.
Quinn rolling to his left. Here comes the pursuit, trying to evade the defensive players, and he's run out of bounds for about a loss of 2 or 3.
Mike Quinn there doesn't force anything, doesn't just chuck up a ball where he could get an intentional grounding penalty or he could just throw up a pick. I mean, it was the right thing to do to run out of bounds on that one, where he was being chased by about 3 Old Tappan defenders, excuse me.
Loss of about 6 yards on the play. Third and 16.
It'll be a long and intimidating 3rd and 16 coming up for the Patriots.
This may be the first defensive stop we'll see on the Patriots all game.
2 wide receivers at the top of your screen, Justin Horahan and Brian Ogden. Play action, the ball's given to Ronnie Drees as he gains about 4 or 5 of the yards that were lost. And it looks like the Patriots are going to, they're going to punt.
I mean, punting's definitely the smart thing to do. It's about 4th and 11 on the play. It's definitely out of field goal range. It's like a 55-yard field goal, which most NFL kickers can't make that. Ogden's going to punt it away here, which is probably a smart move. We'll see if he can get a touchback or if he can keep it in bounds.
Ogden with his first punt of the game. It's a high punt. It looks like this one's going to bounce into the end zone, and it does, so it'll be a touchback as the Oltapan Golden Knights are going to get to take the ball at the 20-yard line. Now let's take the time to throw it down to our fourth member of our broadcasting crew, Mike Bowenick. Mike, what do you got?
Thanks, guys. And I just want to take the opportunity to point out a pretty unsung player in this Wayne Hills offense. Center Matt Rubin, the senior. He's done a great job of getting Quinn the ball cleanly and then protecting him after he gets the ball. Rubin's done a good job of contributing to Wayne Hill's success by protecting Quinn and giving him room to scramble and find the open receiver. And a lot of people should be paying more attention to him. He's done a great job at helping this Wayne Hill's office. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Mike. And with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in this first half, the Wayne Hills Patriots have a 21-7 lead. They jumped off to an early 13-7 lead, and in the second quarter, they scored their third touchdown of the game, went for two, converted on the two-point conversion, and that's where we are now at 21-7. Devin Fuller under center for the Golden Knights. Fuller back to pass, throws to Brian Stankiewicz, and it's complete as Stankiewicz is taken down by Albert Falzarano and Ronnie Dries for a minimal gain of maybe 1 or 2.
Great job there by Albert Falzarano and Ronnie Dries to team up and take down the towering 6'4" Stankiewicz. I mean, now is the time to shut them down. They just shut the Wayne Hills down for the first time. You don't want them getting any spark of life before the half. You don't want them going into the locker room with the confidence they scored a touchdown, we're only down by 7. And let's not forget, they do get possession at halftime. So if they score here and then they hold them for the rest of the quarter, it's a 7-point game.
Compact offensive set here for the Golden Knights. So no one moves in motion. Fuller has nowhere to run as he's taken out immediately by number 64, Nick Tuminello in the backfield.
Finally picking up by the Wayne Hills defensive line. They're able to break through and take down Devin Fuller. I mean, he's been running all over him tonight. He's been running out of the pocket, running those reverses. But they were finally able to recognize that he was keeping it and was able to take him down.
Yeah, Nick Tuminello putting the swim move on the offensive lineman of the Golden Knights. Great play by him to get in the backfield and wreak havoc back there, which sets up a 3rd and long now for the Golden Knights.
3rd and 9 is what faces the Oltapan Golden Knights, a long 3rd down with just under a minute and a half remaining. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout here. Timeout taken by the Wayne Hills Patriots.
Timeout Wayne Hills.
That should leave them with 1 remaining timeout. I'm sorry, Brian.
It's all right. Right now is when you put in your nickel defense. You tell them to pump back. You don't want them to get any touchdowns before the half. You don't want any stupid plays or any penalties. It's 1:30 remaining. I mean, they should be okay. You just pump back Ronnie Dries, pump back Matt DeBlock, and pump back Justin Horan.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Oltapan run the ball here, as I don't think Wayne Hills has any timeouts remaining. So if they run the ball, the clock would run down under a minute before Wayne Hills could do anything with it.
We're not 100% sure on the timeout situation. We are 100% sure, though, that it's either 1 or 0. The Patriots have definitely taken at least 2 timeouts, possibly 3. I think they have 1 left. I'm not 100% sure, though. Either way, the Golden Knights will be faced with a 3rd and 9 from their own 21-yard line, scored 21-7. And from the standpoint of the Golden Knights, as Brian stated earlier, it would be a huge boost to score a touchdown here. Because if they do score a touchdown here, they cut the score down to 21-14. They go into the locker room down by a touchdown. And then, as Brian alluded to earlier, they get the ball back in the beginning of the second half. They'll have the momentum on their side. They can go down the field. They can go down and score another touchdown. Now the game will be tied, and the momentum will be on the Golden Knights side. So this next play has huge implications for the Golden Knights. They really need to convert. Ideally, they really want to score a touchdown on this drive before the half ends. 3 wide receivers for the Golden Knights. Fuller back to Pat, hands it off to the fullback Ray Donnelly for about a gain of 1. Not really sure about that. I guess their plan was just not throw an interception.
Just like I thought, Oltapan runs the ball there on 3rd and long, forces Wayne Hills to use their final timeout. So now Wayne Hills will have about a minute and 15 seconds to go down the field and score a touchdown. But that takes away the middle of the field for the Patriots. Without any timeouts, they're going to have to throw to the sideline and try to get out of bounds.
I think the Patriots right now, they're in an ideal situation. There's going to be a punt to about the 50-yard line. Hopefully they'll get it back around the 45 where they can milk it down. And I think they will be able to run it with Ronnie Dries. He'll be able to bounce to the outside, as we've seen earlier. He'll bounce to the outside, get tackled out of bounds. Best case scenario, they'll score a touchdown. Worst case scenario, they'll probably end up with a field goal. Either way, the Patriots will be going into the locker room up by at least 2 touchdowns.
With 1 minute, 20 seconds remaining in the opening half, the Wayne Hills Patriots will have an opportunity to go on offense one more time and try to take a 3-touchdown lead, which would be a pretty significant and possibly insurmountable for the Golden Knights. Brian Ogden is deep to punt alone this time, so it appears that when the punt returner is close to the end zone, that's when they bring in 2 side-by-side. Ogden at about his own 47-yard line. Snap is a little low, but the punt is off. It's a decent punt as Ogden fields it at about the 38-yard line. And he's taken down at about the 47.
Good coverage by Old Tappan there on that punt, as they didn't allow Brian Ogden to break anything to the outside. Important play by them, because you can't afford to give up any more points, as they're going to try to put together a lockdown defense and hold Wayne Hills to no more points in the half.
So with 1 minute and 11 seconds to go, the Patriots have no timeout, so they have to move and get the ball out of bounds. Quinn back to pass, throws right, complete to Brian Ogden as he walks down out of bounds, stopping the clock. Efficient play there by the Patriots, as that only took 5 seconds.
Patriots have over a minute to go, about 40 yards. I mean, that's not that hard of a task for these Patriots. They really only have to go about 20, 25 to be in field goal range for Divers. I mean, we'll see what, maybe he'll go to his leg tonight. If not, we'll definitely see probably some points put on this board by the Wayne Hills Patriots.
Yeah, look to see Wayne Hills doing a lot more of those out routes and plays to the sideline to try to preserve the clock as much as they can.
Matt to block in at wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Justin Horahan in motion. Quinn throws the screen to Brian Ogden. Ogden looking for room to run. Moves to his left, and he's not going to be able to get out of bounds as the clock will keep running with under a minute to go. Short gain.
I just want to point out, as Dan mentioned, you had Matt to block at the bottom of your screen. He just delivered a layout block on that drive. I mean, that screen to Ogden. He did a great job of laying him out.
Quinn rolling to his right, looking for a man downfield. Moving to his left, and he completes that pass to the tight end, the wide receiver, Matt to block. Matt to block's first reception of the game, but again, clock won't stop. The clock will stop. First down, the clock stops on first downs in high school football.
A great play by Mike Quinn to improvise there and buy a little time for himself and find the open receiver.
Patriots will probably spike the ball right now as they are in field goal range.
Quinn back to pass, pump fake, looking into the end zone, intended for Brian Ogden, but that ball was passed out of bounds. Ogden did not have the opportunity to catch that ball. However, there is a flag down in the middle of the field, so we'll await to see what that call is.
Patriots do have 2 more chances at the end zone. If not, they could settle with a field goal. Take their time. I mean, they have 1 more timeout, so they could stop the clock at any point with 25 seconds left. So we look for the call on the penalty.
It's holding on the Patriots, so that will set the Patriots back 10 yards, which can be extremely significant in terms of field goal kicking. Every yard is key in terms of field goals, especially when we're dealing with long field goals.
That was a mistake Wayne Hills just could not afford to make in this situation. They knocked themselves out of field goal range, and now Quinn's going to have to make a very long throw to try to put any points together before the half.
25 seconds remaining in the first half. Quinn in the gun. Drops back, looking for someone to pass to. Still looking, throwing deep down the left side of the field. This one's intended for Joe Russo. And again, this one's thrown out of the end zone. The safe play.
The wide receivers have been there. It's been one-on-one coverage. Mike is just overthrowing them a tad. I mean, it's hard to make that placement throw on the run. He hasn't had that long a time to think about where he wants to throw. He did have Ronnie Drees on the screen, but it's go big or go home for these Wayne Hills Patriots.
Yeah, great pass protection there by the offensive line, but that was just a great coverage play by Old Tappan. Mike Quinn had time to check off with all 4 of his receivers, but none of them were open, and he had to force it up to Joe Russo.
Quinn under center. The Patriots will likely try to gain some yards here to help out. And Justin Horahan is going to throw it down the left field. That ball is intended for Joe Russo, but it's incomplete as Jeff Pinelli with A great job there on defense to bat that ball down. The Patriots attempted some trickery there with the double pass. Unfortunately, did not connect.
We saw that last week against Mawa, that toss to Horahan where he tries to throw it off in the end zone. It wasn't successful last time. It wasn't successful this time. I mean, the idea's there, but right now, I mean, they don't really care. Mike Quinn's 3rd and 20, 9 seconds left. They're going to go for it on both plays. They're going to go for the long ball to the end zone.
Well, we know Justin Horahan can throw. As a freshman, he played quarterback. He was one of the potential quarterbacks for the future of this Wayne Hills team. Quinn steps up in the pocket, throws deep down the left side of the field, intended for Brian Ogden. Ogden makes the catch, and it's called incomplete. A great job there by Brian Ogden, a great effort. He laid out, and I thought he made a great catch. And high school football is 1 foot, so he definitely had 1 foot in, so you have to think that they're calling that they didn't have possession.
I definitely don't agree with that call. I mean, Brian Ogden, it seemed like he had that 1 foot in bounds. He eluded his defender. He had him outrun. Great placement by Mike Quinn to the end of the end zone. The Patriots will have one more shot. It's going to be 4th and 20 with 2 seconds left, so they will have one more shot at the end zone. But I think that definitely should have been a touchdown.
I agree, Brian. It looked like Ogden was able to drag a foot, and that was a perfectly thrown ball by Quinn. Only his man could catch it, and he almost came down with it.
Quinn in the gun. Drops back to pass, looking down into the end zone. Eludes one defender, steps up, still looking for a man. He throws this one into the end zone. There's 2 receivers there. Do any come down with it? And they do. Justin Horahan comes down with the ball. Touchdown, Patriots. Joe Russo and Justin Horahan were both in the vicinity. Joe Russo did not come down with it, but Justin Horahan did. Touchdown, Patriots. As time expires in this first half, the Patriots jump out to a 27-7 lead.
Great job there once again by Mike Quinn. I mean, he was feeling the pressure. He had to come outside the pocket. He could have given up on the play altogether, just taking a nice 25-yard run. But he throws it up to two of his receivers, Joe Russo and Justin Horan. Justin Horan able to come down with it on the opposite side of the field.
An unbelievable play by Justin Horahan. He went up over defenders to make that catch, showing his great ups as you see a lot on the basketball court, but using it to his advantage here on the football field. A great catch by him to get the momentum back on the Patriots side going into the half.
Divers converts the extra point as your score at the end of 2 quarters of play. The Wayne Hills Patriots 28 and the Golden Knights of Tappan 7. So guys, first half of play, pretty good offensive play there by the Patriots. What do you guys think?
I think that in the beginning it was all running. Mike still stayed strong with the passing, but Ronnie was definitely having a blowout game, it seemed. Then they seemed to shut him down. They seemed to become wise. Then Mike stepped up, and I think his stats are definitely adding up tonight. He's having a huge yard gain, and I think as far as defense goes, Wayne Hills was struggling a little bit the first few drives, but I think now they found their niche, and they're ready to shut him down. It's 28-7. They have a pretty significant lead. We'll see what happens in the second half, because Tappan will get the ball, so most likely they'll make it a 28-14 2-possession game, but right now it seems the Patriots have this one on lock.
I think the key drive in this game was right between the first and second quarters, where Wayne Hills was able to get a 3-and-out by Tappan after Tappan had marched down the field on the previous drive and scored a touchdown. Wayne Hills was able to come down the field and score after that and open up a huge lead, but that final play from Quinn to Horahan was absolutely unbelievable, and Wayne Hills will go into the locker room with a lot of momentum. I don't know about you, Dan, but I'm a little surprised to see Brian Dowling on the sideline the whole game. I mean, he's been their primary force on offense, and he hasn't even seen the field yet so far.
When we come back, we have the Wayne Hills Marching Band and a very special interview with a man who is very dear and near to our hearts, David Suntup.
So trying times for Wayne Hills at the 4-yard line. 3rd and goal for the Patriots, losing 24-21 in the overtime session. A touchdown wins it, a field goal ties it. And a field goal will put it into second overtime where the same rules apply. High formation for the Patriots right now, and the fans are on their feet. Monahan, look at that, he's back in the pocket, and he's going for Greg Olsen, and he got it! They got it! Touchdown, Patriots! Touchdown, Patriots! Wayne Hills is going to take home the victory and the biggest win of the young career of Greg Olsen, and many to come. Touchdown, Patriots!
Welcome back to Patriot Stadium, and now I'm joined by two very special guests, Parker Weston and David Suntup, ex-broadcasters from Wayne Hills TV. Now guys, the biggest change since you've been here has to be the brand new turf field. Dave, let me ask you first, what do you think of the field?
It's beautiful. I just walked down here, I saw the W Hills logo. It's just amazing how far this program has come, where they have such a nice turf field. It looks like a college field. It looks like the field at Carrier Dome where they have the S in the middle. This is a beautiful field. The checkerboard end zones are really nice. They have the helmet, which they had last year, the cannon. Wayne Hills football is just really coming alive here. You have to give credit to the board of ed for just stepping up. And it's great for these players to show up to Patriot Stadium every week and play on such a beautiful field.
Yeah, it's a fantastic piece of work, but not only the football team gets to play on it, but all athletes from Wayne Hills get to play on it. I'm just upset that, I graduate from Wayne Hills lacrosse, and I didn't get an opportunity to play in the beautiful field, but it's great to see a nice turf field finally in Wayne Hills. So.
Now, in terms of the game, guys, I know you both have been here, seen the whole game so far. What do you think of the Wayne Hills Patriots?
Well, the one thing that's really stuck out in my mind, Mike Quinn is just incredible as the quarterback. He's just toying with those linebackers and defensive linemen back there as a quarterback, just scrambling, finding time. He's so elusive in the pocket, and he's so accurate back there. His throws are unbelievable. He's throwing across his body sometimes off balance, and he's just making the throws, and they're just getting to wide receivers. For instance, on that last drive, on the third down play to Ogden, and by the way, Sean DePerry, who was on the field taking video for the highlight video, he showed us the replay, and by the way, Brian Ogden did get 1 foot in, and it looked like he had possession, so Brian Ogden got around the touchdown. But it's amazing that Mike Quinn, such a young quarterback, can just come out there, next play, 4th down, 2 seconds left, he comes out there and throws a strike out there to Justin Horhan. It's just incredible to watch. He's put on a clinic.
Yeah, I gotta say, Mike Quinn's a very special player. My college quarterback can't even throw the ball that well, so Quinn's got big things in front of him, but the highlight of Wayne Hills has always been their offense, and they look like they haven't lost a step. The offense has already come out here and scored 28 points in the first half, so it seems that they're right in line for where they always are.
Well, the Syracuse Orange are 1-4 right now, and they're having some problems on offense, especially at the quarterback position. So, if Mike Quinn was interested in playing D1 football, I'd be happy to have him up in Central New York at Syracuse University.
Well, Dave and Parker, I know you guys are both in college. I know you guys are both involved in broadcasting. How's your broadcasting careers going at college?
So far, I'm getting pretty much broken in. For the TV station, I made the news department as a sports anchor, so I'll be clear to air at the beginning of November. But the basketball media day is this Thursday. So once that occurs, I'll be in front of the plasma for the newscast, and I'll be previewing all the players. And Syracuse basketball should be a great year for them this year. Besides the fact that they lost Dante Green, Devendorf and Rattlins are healthy, so it should be a special year. And then I'm trying to get involved in the sports department. It's a slow process, but I'm pretty much going to all the shows, shadowing, getting involved in other positions. And then for the radio station, it's a slow process. There's 2 stations. There's a talk staff, and there's a play-by-play staff. I have to go in once a week at 5:30 in the morning and write a 3-minute sportscast with 2 sound bites. And then for the talk staff, to do a post-game show on a digital voice recorder once a week after every SU football game. So it's definitely a process, not like Wayne Hills where I pretty much just walked right in here and I was in front of a mic broadcasting Wayne Hills football. But I'm working hard, and we'll see where it takes me.
I'm on the radio in my high school doing color commentator, so my family back here is listening to me. My friends enjoy listening to me on the radio, so I'm on the radio, and we just got a TV station started at my college, and I got my own sports show on that. So far things looking positive for me, so I'm glad where everything's going well. So.
Well, Dave, Parker, I'm so happy to hear that you guys are doing so well in college, their broadcasting careers. I want to thank you. Thank you both for coming in. And
it's an honor, Dan.
Please, guys.
Good luck with the rest of the game.
Come back again.
Yeah, you guys keep up the great work. You guys are doing a great job. Just keep it up. Keep working hard, and good things are going to happen.
Well, thanks, guys. It's really special to hear from 2 experienced legends that were doing a good job here at Wayne Hills TV. When we return, we'll have the Wayne Hills Marching Bands.
All this hype about the defense, and it's been true in this game, playing very nice defense.
Oh, Wayne Hills Patriots! Ariel Danziger off the deflection of Alyssa Maselli. And just like we were talking about before, how important momentum is in this game. The Wayne Hills Patriots get the first goal in this huge county final, and the Wayne Hills Patriots are on top 1-0.
Patriots putting a lot of defenders in the box. Ryan looking for help, and that is it. That is their final. The Wayne Hills Patriots have just defeated the Wayne Valley Indians in the Passaic County final. Girls soccer, Wayne Hills 1, Wayne Valley nothing. They are your 2005 Passaic County champion.
with a standing round of applause for the young men and women of the Wayne Hills Patriot Marching Band. And let's continue that applause for the great two performances we had at halftime.
This is Nick Warzel's limelight, folks. This is when he brings his A game. The lights are turned on the field. Late in the day, he's ready to go.
On first down, Warzel back to pass. Excellent protection all the time in the world. Looking downfield, looking for Van Peening, triple covered. Sticks it in there, flags on the play. Van Peening ahead to the 20, looking for the sideline. He's across the 10, near the goal line. Dives. Touchdown, Ray Van Peening.
Hello and welcome back to Patriots Stadium, where your Wayne Hills Patriots are defeating the Old Tappan Golden Knights 28-7. I'm Brian DeBoe, your new play-by-play announcer, joined by John Vitas and Dan Cohen for the second half of action. Guys, what are your thoughts on the first half so far, since it is the second half and the Patriots have a significant 3-possession lead?
Well, Brian, I think the Patriots have done a superb job so far on offense. They've done a great job spreading the ball around. They've balanced out the run and the pass. I think they've done play action really well, and Brian Ogden has had a huge game. It seems like he's always open, and even when he's not open, if you throw the ball up, it's almost like Brian Ogden will always catch it.
Yeah, Wayne Hills came out very sharp on offense in the first half, put up 4 touchdowns, a great point margin, and going into the second half up by 3 scores. I mean, they have so many weapons on offense. I've said it before. Mike Quinn's had a spectacular game. He's been able to scramble around and find guys down the field. He's had a spectacular game. Ogden's had a nice job. But the big thing in this game, Ronnie Drees coming back from an injury, has looked very sharp. He looks to be 100% on offense. He's made some plays on defense too. But it's been a very nice, pleasant surprise for the Patriots to see Ronnie Drees at 100%.
Now the Patriots will kick off the ball to start the second half. But guys, I want to bring up one play that was a huge play in the second half. Time was ticking down. There was about 20 seconds left. Quinn threw up a bomb to the end zone to Ogden, who they called him out of bounds. They ruled him out of bounds. Do you agree with the call? Do you think he had his 1 foot in? Because the rule is 1 foot for regulation high school football.
I don't agree with the call. I have a feeling that it wasn't whether he was in or out of bounds, because I thought it was pretty obvious he was in bounds. I think they were calling that maybe he didn't have possession while he was in bounds. I think possession was the key thing there. But again, I disagree. But it's a moot point because you know what? On the next player, the second next play, they scored a touchdown anyway to Justin Horahan, so it really didn't matter in the end.
Tim Divers will kick off to start the second half of action from his own 40. High kick to about the 5, where Old Tappan will field it. Take it up behind the legal blockers to about the 22 where he's stuffed. Now Old Tappan's receiving. They've been pretty successful tonight. They've been able to break open for tackles, but it's interesting to see him stop there at the 21. Tackle made by James Edelectus, number 44, who has had a lot of blocking opportunities this game with the power, with Ronnie Dries coming up the middle for those short gains.
Darius Charles had that kick return. Charles has taken virtually all the kick returns so far in this game. He's done pretty well, actually.
So now freshman Devin Fuller will lead his troops onto the field. He's done a pretty good job so far in the game. We'll see what he could do. I formation motion for Old Tappan. He's going to fake it and take an option out to the right side. Keep it. Fuller's going to crawl for about the first down. He's going to fumble. We'll see if the ruling calls it. Yeah, the ground caused the fumble, so Old Tappan will retain possession, 1st and 10.
A great run by Fuller there as he was able to find a seam in the defense, eluding the defenders as Wayne Hills appeared to cover that one well, but he was able to find a seam and fall forward for a first down. A nice gain by Fuller.
Fuller was left with the option, decided wisely to take it for himself as he cut it back into the middle, found a lane to run, and he got tripped up. Who knows how far he could have broken through into the secondary if he didn't get tripped up.
1st and 10 from the 36. I formation, one receiver to the left for Fuller. He's going to call motion again. This time he's going to try to keep it, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield by a big 64, Nick Tuminello, Big Nate.
Second sack of the game for Nick Tuminello, arguably his best game of the year.
Now, Nick, this is his first year starting on defense. He's starting at defensive end, I believe. He's been able to get a lot of penetration, make a lot of sacks, as Dan said.
Yeah, we've seen this all game from the Wayne Hills defensive line, getting penetration, especially when Fuller drops back to pass. And it wasn't just Tuminello on that play. Also, Paul Drake and Brian Dickman got in on that one, too.
Fuller, one wide receiver set to his right, your lower half of the screen. He's going to drop back to pass, look to his right, throw it up, and it's going to be through the hands of Brian Ogden. Pass intended for number 10, Dan Zanone.
A questionable decision by the Old Tappan quarterback as there were 4 Patriots defenders around that receiver. I'm not sure what he was thinking on that play.
You bring up a good point there, John. Not really a wise throw by the freshman, Devin Fuller, as Dan Zanone, the intended wide receiver, was severely outnumbered by about 3 or 4 Patriots, and Brian Ogden ultimately was closest to the ball.
Now, Devin Fuller, he's the freshman quarterback, as we mentioned before. He is a pretty tall guy for being a freshman, 6 foot. I mean, he's probably not done growing. He might be a fierce weapon in Old Tappan, but we'll see in later seasons. Shotgun formation for Old Tappan. He's going to drop back, look to his left, quick dump pass to his running back, who's going to take it up, cut off the field, and be tackled for a gain of about 3 on the play, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he gained about 2 or 3, but they were already behind the original line of scrimmage, and they still haven't gotten to the original line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a 4th and long. Obviously, we're going to see a punt here.
Great hit by the block on that play as you saw the Wayne Hills linebackers closing in on the screen play there. Nice play by the Wayne Hills defense.
Ogden back deep to return again with Massey about 10 yards up to make the block. We'll see if Ogden can get a productive return, as he hasn't been so productive so far in these first few returns. It's going to be a low punt. Bounces at the 40 to Ogden. He's going to let it bounce. Keep rolling to about the 21. The Patriots will take over. Now, guys, I want to bring something up. The NBIL is officially over. They voted last night. I'm not sure if everybody's heard. But the NBIL is over. With teams like Ramapo, we'll see them once more in the playoffs, hopefully, but then that's over. But then it's going to open the books up to new teams like DePaul and Wayne Valley, which are a little more local. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's going to be more productive, or do you think it's going to bring in less fans?
You know, Brian, I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. The realignment plan for next year was voted for, and I got to tell you, a lot of the leagues are unhappy, and we'll get back to that after this play.
Quinn's going to hand it off. A nice draw to Ronnie, who's going to be taken up in the backfield for a short gain, as you were saying, Dan.
Yeah, and so a lot of the leagues are really upset. Really, the only happy ones are some of the Essex County teams. They managed to get some of their leagues still intact. The Patriots, I think they come out as either winners or even. They really didn't get any huge parochial private school teams put into their division. They lost a few good teams. They gained a couple of good teams. Wayne Valley, on the other hand, took a huge loss as the realignment's kind of strange. Next year, they're going to have to schedule games against teams who have been realigned, but they yet won't be realigned. It's kind of confusing, but it's going to be tough for them to find opponents next year.
Twins left for the Patriot. Mike Quinn in shotgun formation. Ogden in motion. There's going to be a flag, 3 flags, so I think there's going to be some agreement. I think it's going to be a legal motion. We'll see what the call is. It's going to be a false start on the Patriots, so they're going to lose 5 yards. John, what are your thoughts on the realignment?
Well, I like it for the other sports programs, not including football. Teams that haven't been as competitive in the past. They've played tough Bergen County teams, and I think it's going to help them because the competition in the league has gone down a bit. But I think it's going to hurt the football team overall because they don't get to match up against any big schools.
It's a good point, John. Wayne Hills ice hockey will probably be a little more productive, getting a few more wins on the season. They're going to run the same play again. Ogden in motion, Quinn shotgun. He's going to give a nice handoff to Ronnie up the middle, who's going to break a few tackles and get up for about 8 yards on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 10 for the Patriots.
And back to the realignment again once more. I think what's really tough about the realignment is with breaking up the NBIL, you lose the Wayne Hills Ramapo rivalry, and that's huge. That is arguably the biggest public school rivalry in the state of New Jersey. It's massive. It's really weakened in the past couple of years, but in the past decade or so, it's been absolutely massive in all sports.
Ogden and Russo, twins left. Quinn's going to drop back, look left, going to give a nice out pattern to Ogden, who's going to fall short. He was double covered on the play. Pass was deflected by Jeff Panili. He's a 5'8" sophomore.
That might have been the first inexperienced play for Mike Quinn. He had Joe Russo more open in the middle of the field, and he didn't check off to his second receiver, went to his first receiver right off the bat to Ogden, and it was incomplete.
So now Patriots will punt it away on 4th and 8. So Tappan is back at about the 42 to receive. It's going to be a bouncy kick at the 50. Tom DiBianca gets down there quickly. He's going to let it roll to about the 39 where Tappan will take over. So it's 2 unproductive drives by both Wayne Hills and Tappan. We'll see if Tappan can capitalize on this field position.
It's a good point. You brought the field position. Tappan will start from their own 39-yard line, which is pretty good field position considering that it seriously cuts down the size of the field compared to some of their other drives where they were starting inside their own 20 or inside their own 30.
Tappan hasn't scored since the first half, so they're going to have to try to get some points on the board. They haven't scored since the first quarter, actually, so they need to get on the board quick. They're down by 3 scores. They got to cut it down to at least 2 by the 4th quarter.
So now Fuller will take the field. It's going to be a tight I formation for Tappan. 1 man in the backfield. Motion, he's going to fake it. He will give the reverse off to number 10, Dan Zanone, who's going to get little to no yards. There seems to be a little shoving on the field between Brian Ogden and Tappan defender. They're going to be reprimanded for that. But real quickly, we're going to send it down to Mike Botwinick, the 4th member, sideline reporter of our crew. Mike, what do you got?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with former Wayne Hills running back Carlton Morrison. Carlton, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, Botwinick.
Carlton, having a good time in Bowling Green. Carlton, tell us a few words about how it's like to live the college life at Bowling Green University.
Well, the college life isn't bad. Obviously school comes first and then football. But Other than that, I mean, school it's not as bad as I thought it would be. You know, the work isn't that hard. You know, we have study table and everything like that. So I'm just learning out how to manage my time and stuff like that, get my work done and manage it with football and everything else like that.
Now, Carlton, I know Coach Olson's practices here are known for being very hard and demanding. How do they compare to the college practices?
Actually, people might think it's the other way around, that college practice or college ball is actually harder than high school. The only difference is that it's faster. Wayne Hills practices, you know, triples and everything like that. It's actually not. Bowling Green practices aren't as bad as Wayne Hills. You know, last year we're out here for 3.5 hours. You know, Coach Olson, you know how he has us out here for all that time. But yeah, the practice actually is not that bad. You know, we're out there for an hour and a half, get stuff done, bing, bing, bang, boom, we're out of there. So it's good.
Now, Carlton's quick to end it up. Any last words for the Wayne Hills football team this year?
Nothing other than good luck. I mean, you see them, they come a long way since last year. They're building up, but just good luck, and I hope they go all the way like we did last year.
Thank you, Carlton. Back up to you guys.
Thank you for that, Mike. So now it's going to be 2nd and 16 after that loss on first down. One receiver set for Old Tappan. Fuller drops back, looks to Zanone. He's going to throw it up. He's not even looking. And that's going to be an incomplete pass for Old Tappan. 3rd and 16. Intended for Brian Stankiewicz, who has been the dominant receiver, as we said before in the pregame. He's a 6'4" receiver.
That was a pretty weak pass to reception connection there between the freshman Devin Fuller and Brian Stankiewicz. Stankiewicz ran. It was a timing pass. They did it earlier in the game where Fuller would pass it short, and Stankiewicz would check off his man and come back and catch the ball, and it would already be in flight, and it would come right into his hands. But that ball was underthrown, and in addition to being underthrown, Stankiewicz pushed off, so that really wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of Stankiewicz's height. I mean, Fuller's got to give his man a chance to catch that ball. He can come down with anything with that height. So Fuller's got to lead him a little bit more and give him a chance to catch the ball.
I think that's where the experience comes into play. Stankiewicz wasn't even looking at the ball, but Fuller found it necessary to throw up the lob. So they're going to be trips right for Old Tappan, shotgun formation, one man in the backfield. He's going to roll out to his right. Fuller's going to look deep, throw deep to Stankiewicz, and it's picked off by Brian Ogden. We'll see if he was ruled in bounds, and it wasn't ruled in bounds. He got both feet down, but I guess he had him out of bounds. That's the second catch by Brian Ogden that's been ruled out of bounds.
Yeah, you know, from where we are, I have to say, I'll be honest, it's tough to see where his feet landed in. I'll say from where we are right now, honestly, I thought it looked like he got both feet in. Obviously, the toes were in question as he was facing the sideline. It is possible that his toes were touching the white. It's tough for us to see, but I thought he was in bounds. I think he should have got that interception.
It really doesn't matter because that would have been just as good as a punt for Old Tappan. So now they'll punt it away back to Wayne Hills.
Something different for the Patriots. Ogden and Horahan both back to receive, see if they can get something going. Old Tappan's going to short punt, fielded at the 40 by Horahan, who's going to take it up. Be tackled after about 6-yard game. Patriots will take the field at the 46-yard line.
Looks like Horahan bobbled that ball a bit when he first caught it. It looked like he bobbled it a bit, but then he regained possession, and it's too bad he couldn't find a hole because he caught that ball in stride and really had a full head of steam going, but unfortunately he ran to a white wall of Old Tappan defenders.
I think the Patriots would be well suited to just run the ball here on this drive. Milk some clock down. They're up by 3 scores. There's no reason to push the envelope.
High formation for the Patriots. Quinn's going to hand it off to Jerice, who's going to take it up, bounced out to the left side. He's going to have some room to run, and he's quickly thrown down after a gain of about 9. It's going to be 2nd and a few for the Patriots.
Number 44, Ray Donnelly, made that tackle. We haven't seen Ray Donnelly on defense much so far this game. He's a linebacker. The majority of the plays he's gotten have been at fullback. He's gotten quite a few significant runs.
Now we see the sophomores like Nick Massey getting in on defense, or offense, excuse me. I mean, this is when they're throwing in the subs. They are up by 3 possessions. It's definitely time to get that experience in.
Brian Dowling's also in the game, another sophomore, who's been the focal point of the Patriots offense, but it's the first time he's been on the field tonight.
Quinn's going to trip, and I think that's going to go down as a sack. I'm not quite sure. It appears that somebody stepped on his foot as he was hiking the ball, and he fell back, tried to pitch it to Dowling, but eventually went down with it. As you mentioned, though, Dowling did check into the game. I think the main part of the decision to start Ronnie tonight over him was not only that he's a senior, But that Dowling was limited last game only to 65 yards, which isn't bad, but compared to the 150-yard games that he was having before that game, I mean, it was a clear-cut decision to go with Ronnie. So Ronnie's going to check back in the game. 4 receivers set for the Patriots. Quinn's going to drop back this time, look to his right, throw a deep ball to a wide-open Justin Horan, who's going to catch it at the 20 and take it in for a touchdown. That's 6 for the Patriots right there.
What a play by Justin Horahan. He really had to go out and get that ball. As Mike Quinn, he threw a great ball, but Justin Horahan really had to move to get that ball and catch it in stride. Not only did he catch it in stride, he caught it falling forward, but was able to maintain his balance and still sprint in down the sideline into the end zone. Great job there by Justin Horahan.
That was just a simple pitch and catch for Wayne Hills. Mike Quinn threw an absolutely perfect ball to Horahan, who was able to catch it in stride and walk into the end zone.
Quinn having a spectacular night. Diver's going to try for the point after. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is good, right through the uprights, bringing us to a 35-7 game with 5:23 remaining in the third quarter.
Well, with the score of 35-7 and 5 minutes and 23 seconds to remain in the third quarter, I'm not really sure. I don't think the score is a big enough lead to really see significant substitutions, but I do believe that on the next offensive drive, we may see a few more substitutions than usual. Maybe we'll see the third and fourth wide receivers, Mark Romeo and Max De Carvalho, even though it appears that they've been replaced temporarily, at least, by Matt DeBlock and Joe Russo.
Matt DeBlock having a big game tonight, as well as Nick Tuminello, both having great games. They're juniors, and they're going to be seniors next year. Possible captain candidates. Divers is going to kick off from his 40. The kick is deep to about the 9-yard line, fielded by Old Tappan. He's going to take it up, tackled at about the 24. Fuller will come onto the field and see if he can get anything going for this Old Tappan offense.
That was Jeff Pinelli on the kick return. That's one of the first, probably the first return we've seen that Darius Charles hasn't taken. And Pinelli really took a pop from number 8, Mike Waller, who's been all over the field so far this game. He may lead the Patriots in tackles today.
You have to give some props to Wayne Hills' kickoff team. All night, they've had so many kickoffs to defend, and they've done every one very well. I mean, Old Tappan has not had good field possession all night.
So now it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 26 for Old Tappan. Tight I formation once again. Motion, Fuller's going to drop back. He's going to hand it off the middle. It's for a minimal gain, about 2 on the play, 2nd and about 9.
I think one of the reasons Wayne Hills was able to stop Old Tappan after that opening drive was they were able to read Old Tappan's offense, because they have a very unique offense there with the Golden Knights. They run a Navy-like wishbone type of formation. They send a lot of guys in motion, wing backs. You see guys all running all over the field before the ball is snapped. So I think Wayne Hills was a little bit confused coming out of the gate, but they were able to figure that out and stop them in the second half.
Old Tappan definitely likes to run a tight offense. They'll have most twins out on the field. They're going to have one wide receiver set right now. They like the protection to give Fuller's, then going in motion. He's going to fake the handoff, roll out to his right. He's going to keep it. Fuller's going to be tackled for another minimal gain of about 1 or 2 on the play. It's probably going to be 3rd and 7 on the play.
Brian Dickman is the player who had that tackle.
Salerno also getting in on that. He was the one that originally caused the pressure.
Ryan Salerno has been a big factor in the defensive line. You don't hear his name much, but I mean, he's started last year as a sophomore, which is pretty rare. Started with players like Zach Doyes, Pat Mitchell, and he's been doing a great job ever since. James DeDelectis will check out as Justin Horahan will check in. It's going to be 3rd and 8. This is going to be a crucial play for the Old Tappan Golden Knights to restore any hope whatsoever.
Watch for the top of the screen, Brian Stankiewicz versus Justin Horahan. Pretty big height discrepancy there.
Twins left, shotgun formation. It's going to be a quick pass, picked off by Ogden. I don't know what Fuller was thinking about that. He might have confused number 11 Zangone for Stankiewicz on the play, but his height was definitely not there, and Ogden was able to come down with the pick. This time it was ruled inbounds.
Yeah, good point, Brian. They can't call that one out of bounds. But, you know, they did do what we thought they were going to do. They saw it. They identified the mismatch between Stankiewicz and Justin Horahan. They went to Stankiewicz, but the ball was thrown far too ahead of Stankiewicz, and that was an easy pick for Brian Ogden, lingering at safety.
So now Quinn will take over with excellent field position. Quick dump pass to Horahan, who's going to juke out the defender and be tackled after a gain of about 2.
Great closure by the Old Tappan linebackers. They came in on that quick and shut it down before it had any opportunity of getting a bigger gain.
So the clock's going to tick down to about 3:10 left in the third quarter. If you're just joining us, I'm Brian Naveau, joined by Dan Cullen and John Vitas. Patriots are leading the Old Tappan Golden Knights 35-7 with the ball on the 36-yard line. Looking to make this another touchdown drive. One wide receiver set for the Patriots. Ogden out to the right. I formation, 2 in the backfield for Quinn. Motion with Diedelectus. This is probably going to be a power run up. Quinn's going to fake it, and he's going to feel the pressure, run out to about, he's going to tuck it, juke, and take a hit from behind at about the 32-yard line. Quinn takes a big hit there while trying to elude the defender.
A great play there by Quinn, but he's got to just step out of bounds there. I mean, this game is pretty much won, and late in the third quarter, you're up by 4 scores. You got to just step out of bounds. It was a great job to elude the initial rush, but you got to be smart and just step out of bounds with the ball. But still a good play by him.
Yeah, that's a risky play there by Quinn. Got crunched pretty hard by number 28, Robert Campo. Hit him from behind. I don't think Quinn ever saw it. Fortunately, Quinn held onto the ball.
A productive run by Mike Quinn. That's going to make it 3rd and 2, definitely doable for the Patriots. It's going to be a quick look to the left to Brian Ogden, who's wide open. The pass isn't there, thrown out of bounds. It's going to be incomplete, 4th and 2 for the Patriots. Now, guys, this poses a question. Do you kick the field goal knowing you're on the 35-yard line? That's a pretty lengthy field goal for Divers. It's going to be about a 40-yard field goal. Or do you go for it on 4th and 2 knowing you have the big lead?
Yeah, not at all. You can't kick a field goal in this situation. I think it's out of Divers' range. He might be able to make it, but the chances are very slim. No reason to give Old Tappan good field position. They will go for it. They have higher percentage chances of getting 2 yards and making a 45-yard field goal.
Yeah, they're going for it on 4th down, which is really, that is the Wayne Hills mantra. They really don't take field goals unless they think the field goal is the best choice. And that doesn't usually happen. So it's a short 4th down conversion, only 4th and 2. They're pretty confident they can convert this.
Ronnie's going to be a lone star in the backfield. Quinn's going to roll out to the right, throw a quick ball to Horan, who's got some field to run. He's going to take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots. That's going to make it 41-7, not including the extra point. Another touchdown by Justin Horan, and these receiving touchdowns just keep adding up for Mike Quinn. He's having a spectacular night. Yeah,
another great connection there by Mike Quinn and Justin Horahan. Boy, you know, we're really starting to see that speed from Justin Horahan. I don't think Justin Horahan was really known for his speed coming in, but he's really proven that he's a really, really fast player. He's got great explosion speed. He catches the ball, and there's those important rack yards, those run after the catch. That's where he's really racking up the yards.
So the snap will be bad for the Patriots as Horahan's going to fall on top of it. That's another point after that. Will go down as a miss in Divers' stats. So now it's going to be 41-7. It's going to remain that.
41-7. This game is over. You could empty out the benches now if you're Coach Olson and get your sophomores and juniors that don't get much playing time into the game. Get them some action going into the future, because later down the road you're going to have to rely on these kids to carry your varsity team.
Going back to our predictions at the beginning of the game, Dan wasn't expecting a high-scoring game. My prediction was 48-6, I believe. And it's 41-7, so if the Patriots score one more touchdown, I'll be a point off. I highly doubt that, considering we still have the entire 4th quarter to play. I think John had a few points less than me, so he's definitely out of there.
Just for a little correction, I didn't make a prediction, so yeah.
Well, Dan, you mentioned to me before we started taping the pregame show that you didn't think the score was going to be that high. But no matter. Divers will kick off from the 40 once again. It's going to be a high kick back to about the 7-yard line, fielded by Old Tappan. He's going to take it up tackled once again at the 22-yard line. It seems almost repetitive. Every time the Patriots kick off, it's taken down at the 22-yard line.
Tackled by James Alexis.
So now the Golden Knights with not much hope left in this game, down 41-7.
I mean, if you're Old Tappan, really all you can do at this point is just throw the ball with Devin Fuller, test his arm strength, have him throw the ball down the field, hopefully get quick scores, and then force turnovers on defense and try to get the ball back.
Fuller's going to call double motion. He's going to roll out to his right, pursued by Paul Drake. He's going to tuck it and run out of bounds for a gain of about 6 on the play.
And we're going to certainly have some kind of illegal motion or illegal procedure. Yeah, an illegal shift. The Golden Knights had 2 men move in motion, and they did not come set before the snap. That's a fundamental mistake, and they really, on the varsity level, that should really not happen.
Now moving past the penalty, Devin Fuller, freshman quarterback we mentioned, nobody expected him to start. Going against this Wayne Hills defense, he really has impressed me. Being a freshman coming on, starting at the varsity level, you have to be excited, you have to be nervous to be considered the leader, the quarterback's the leader of the team. I mean, he's done a spectacular job this game.
Yeah, I have been very impressed with Fuller. I mean, he's made some confident throws. He looks confident out there, moving very, very, confidently, like I said, around the field. He's impressed me very much.
So now Fuller, I formation. He's going to call motion again, this time only one person. He's going to roll out to his left, keep it again, and be tackled this time for a loss of about 2 on the play. It's going to be second and about 17.
It's interesting. The very first drive of the game for the Golden Knights on offense, they scored a touchdown, they moved down the field with ease, and the reason they were so successful was they had their quarterback, Devin Fuller, drop back, and he would move around, and he would wait till he found an open receiver, and the receiver, it was usually 5, 7, 8-yard gains, and then the receiver, run after the catch for maybe 3 or 4 more yards. They weren't huge plays. And I don't know if the Wayne Hills Patriots adjusted their defense, but you'd wonder, why isn't that happening anymore? And obviously, the only thing you can think of is Wayne Hills must have adjusted their defense, and they obviously did a great job doing that, and that's why Coach Chris Olsen's one of the best.
I think the Wayne Hills defensive line just wore down the offensive line of Old Tappan. Because early on, Fuller was getting plenty of protection and time to throw, but now in the second half, they've been getting penetration on play after play, and Fuller's had no time to deliver the football.
So that's going to end the third quarter for us. It's going to be 41-7, your Wayne Hills Patriots lead. We'll be back after this short break for the fourth and final quarter of action. Stay tuned.
Third and 5, 40 Indians from their own 37-yard line. Bly rolls out to the right side of the field, getting pressured by Drake. As the pass is intercepted by Jeremiah Kale. Kale to the 40, does that to the right side of the field. He's got blocking downfield to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Patriots. Jeremiah Kale, his 10th interception of the season, takes it back for a touchdown as the Patriots take a 6-0 lead.
Welcome back for the fourth and final quarter of play. The Old Tappan Golden Knights will regain possession. It's going to be 2nd and 16 as they switch sides of the field. They're going to take the ball at about the 16-yard line.
With this game seemingly in hand, you see guys, sophomores warming up on the sideline, quarterback James Hogan and receiver and quarterback Joe Ramadan. They'll be in this game sooner or later.
The handoff's going to be Zangone. It's a reverse to the right side. He's going to break a tackle and finally been taken down. He practically ran through the defenders. Nice run there by Zangone.
Yeah, that run there by, I think it was actually number 11, Victor Ahn. He did a lot of running, but he did a lot of running east to west, didn't gain very many yards, didn't do much north to south running, which is obviously a lot more productive than east to west running. East to west running really just tires you out.
I apologize for that mistake. Confused with number 11 with number 10, Zangone. Anyway, it's going to be 3rd and 11 for Old Tappan. Knowing they're down by so much, I wouldn't be surprised if they did go for it, even though they have such atrocious field position. I formation, no receivers out wide. Motion. It's going to take it out. Tuck it again. Fuller's going to run once again, and he's going to be sacked in the backfield at about the 20 by number 45, Ryan DiDerno.
This defensive line for the Patriots is just flat out dominating Old Tappan at this point. I mean, Old Tappan has just run out of gas on their offensive line. I mean, really, their only hope at this point is for Wayne Hills to put in their backups.
Great job there by number 45, Ryan DiDerno, as he really closed down on the quick quarterback, Devin Fuller. DiDerno's had a pretty quiet game so far, and that was a great defensive play.
Perhaps Old Tappan will actually start throwing it in later possessions, but they will punt it 4th and 13. It's going to be a high punt to about the 50. It's going to be fielded by Brian Ogden in stride. He's going to be taken down at the 36-yard line. Excellent field position for the Patriots.
And Brian and John, as you mentioned, we are going to see some substitutes in here, as number 11, Max De Carvalho, checks in for the first time. Number 9, Brian Dowling is in. He's been in for a couple of plays, but looks like we're going to see him for probably some more. Number 61, John Griglak has checked in for the first time. And number 3, the backup quarterback, James Hogan, the sophomore, has also checked in.
Now, this is the first time of the season that any quarterback besides Quinn will take the snap. This proves that they have a pretty comfortable pocket putting in their backup sophomore quarterback. It's going to be a draw to Dowling. He's going to take it up for a gain of about 8 or 9 on the play.
This actually is Hogan's second varsity appearance. He did have one run for 14 yards in a game earlier in the season, but he's getting by far his most varsity playing time in this game, as there's still 9.5 minutes to go. So Hogan's going to get some significant time here at quarterback.
We'll see if Dowling could put up some rushing yards with 9 minutes left. I formation, twins right for the Patriots. Hogan's going to hand it off once again to Dowling. He's going to bounce out to the right side for a first down and then some at the 24-yard line.
I would really, on this drive, I'd love to see some balls thrown to number 11, Max De Carvalho. He's a tall receiver, he's the tallest wide receiver on this Wayne Hills team. He's usually listed at about 6'3" or 6'4". He's number 11, so I'd really like to see quarterback Hogan throw him some balls.
De Carvalho moved here over the summer from, I believe, Miami. And actually, he told me one of the reasons he came here, one among many, was to play football for Wayne Hills. So he's been looking forward to these varsity appearances.
Hogan's going to hand it off he's going to take it out to the left side, fake the handoff to Dowling. He's going to be taken down for a loss of 1 on the play. As you mentioned, though, Max did live in Miami. He lived here in about 7th grade, but then he moved away, came back this year to play football at Hills. Definitely an elite team. It's going to be 2nd and 12 for the Patriots. Now, unfortunately, as you mentioned, we probably won't see much passing from Hogan, considering they just want to run the clock down. And they have such a strong halfback in Brian Dowling. They're just going to keep handing it off and pounding it. And why not? If it's going to work, it's going to work, and it's going to get these first downs and milk the clock.
Earlier, Nick Massey also checked in at fullback for Wayne Hills, so he's now your fullback.
Joe Russo in motion. They're going to hand it off to him. He's going to try to break through the line, but eventually be taken down. Minimal gain on the play. Now, that's a shocker. We normally don't see Joe Russo taking the reverses, being he is such a big guy. But normally we do see the twins right, Joe Russo on the left, and the defenders normally ignore him because he's so big. But then he comes away with the ball and gets some productive yards. So that's definitely uncharacteristic of the Patriots.
Yeah, when you're up by this many points, I mean, you could try basically whatever you want. So giving Russo some carries, a little unusual, but you can try anything at this point if you want.
Most definitely. I formation for the Patriots. Hogan's going to hand it off to Dowling. He's going to run through, have some offense. He's going to have yards. He's going to take it in for the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots. Great run by Brian Dowling. He's able to break a tackle, bounce out to the outside behind his blocker. This guy just shows spectacular running back vision. I mean, he's able to see the field as a whole, know where his blockers are, know where the defenders are. Just another touchdown in the record books for Brian Dowling.
His 10th of the season, Brian, as he's starting out this season to have magnificent stats. In his first 4 games, he had 79 carries, 506 yards, and 9 touchdowns, now 10. And, I mean, he hasn't seen much action in this game, but a great run by him there.
So we'll see if Divers could get this extra point as the last one failed. It will be good through the uprights. So that's going to make it 48-7, 6:56 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's really the first time in this game that we've seen the super sophomore, Brian Dowling, have a really breakthrough run. And that run is really just indicative of the way he runs. He's a power runner, but he's also got a lot of speed. I was on that play. At first, it didn't look like there was a lot of room. He was patient, though, and he waited to find a hole in that line. Found the hole. He bursted through the hole into the linebacker core, broke a few tackles in the linebacker core, and there wasn't much secondary considering how close he was. They were in the red zone. And then, in fact, he actually had a blocker in front of him. He had Maxi Carvalho, but there were no Old Japan people for Carvalho to even block. So Dowling just took it right into the house. He had one man to kind of beat at the end, but he really had it all the way.
Now, Dowling obviously is only a sophomore. He's pretty young, and he saw a lot of playing time that was unexpected, probably, I'm sure, for him. Nobody saw Ronnie getting hurt in the first game, but he's definitely stepped up, and I'm sure by the time he gets to his senior year, we'll be long gone, but John will still be here, and I'm sure that he's going to be just a tremendous running back up there with Ray Van Penen. So now it's going to be fielded by Old Tappan at the 6-yard line, taken up, bounces outside, and he's going to be taken down at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10 for Old Tappan. Tackled by Matt DeBlock on the play. He's had a big game so far.
Defensive substitutions coming in for the Patriots. Tom DiBianca. Ogden is still in there as you see Brian Dowling and Nick Massey getting action in on defense.
Ronnie Dries checking out.
Some interesting things on defense. Paul Drake is still in, as is Brian Ogden, and I'm really not really sure why. So is the safety Matt DeBlock. I can understand DeBlock because he's a youngster, but Ogden and Drake, I'm really not sure why they're still in there.
Fuller's going to drop back, look to his right. He's going to take it, roll out to the right side. He's going to throw a faulty pass, and he's going to be laid out at the 30-yard line. It would have been a complete pass for about a gain of 5 yards, but Ryan Salerno didn't think so.
I think the big boy, Brian Stankiewicz, heard the footsteps coming of Nick Massey. Nick Massey might not be very tall, so he might not appear to be very intimidating, but trust me, play the cross with him. Kid's a truck. He's strong as an ox, and when he gets full head of steam, he can take down anything, and I think Stankiewicz heard the footsteps coming there.
Yeah, I did the chains for the freshman team last year, and Massey put some huge hits on running backs on other teams, so he's a big hitter going into his junior and senior year. You should see a lot of big hits from him in the future.
One receiver set at the top of your screen for Old Tappan. Motion by Zangone. It's going to be an option, and Fuller's going to keep it up to about the 30-yard line. Now, Fuller, he hasn't been scared to tuck the ball and take it up. He's run many times for just one game. I mean, he's run more than Quinn. He hasn't been very productive, but okay for a freshman.
Yeah, you know what? The key word there is freshman. I mean, that's really incredible. He's a freshman, and he's starting at the varsity level. And it really hasn't seemed to phase him. I mean, he's a big kid already. He's 6 feet tall. You're right, Brian. As you alluded to earlier, he's going to grow. That's a fact. He's just going to grow. He's just going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get more arm strength and more experience. When he's a senior, if he's still healthy, boy, he could be a serious threat in high school football.
We won't be able to see, though, considering this is the last year of the NBIL. So we won't be playing Old Tappan anymore in those rivalries like we mentioned earlier in the half. That we won't be playing people like Ramapo or Old Tappan.
Brian Ogden has come out of the game at this point, probably for good, as Wayne Hills is up 48-7 with 4:16 to go in the game. James Hogan has checked in that corner for Wayne Hills.
So now it's going to be 3rd and 4 for Old Tappan. Matt DeBlock will check out. And number 27, Adam Alfaki, the blacksmith, will check in.
And, you know, you just mentioned Adam Alfaki. And, you know, it's good to see that some of the seniors are getting in that generally don't see as much playing time earlier. 2 plays ago, we heard number 82, Jake Silverman, came up with a tackle. And that's really, you know, I'm really happy to see that because Jake's a guy who's been with the football program for all 4 years, worked really hard, also works with us in the TV class, does a great job in there putting things together for us for the football broadcast. So great to see Jake make a tackle.
It's 4:16 remaining in the fourth quarter. Patriots on the verge of victory. Motions and going. Fuller's going to hand it off up the middle, and it's going to be a pretty productive gain of about 8 on the play.
Carbonelli and Paro also in the game now on the defensive tackle positions for Wayne Hills.
Donnelly was the one who made the carry on that. He got about 8 yards before he was tackled by Nick Massey, so now it's going to be 1st and 10 for Old Tappan. One receiver to the left of Fuller. Motion by Zanone, and he's going to be handed off up the middle once again for a large gain of about 11 on the play. That's something we haven't seen much of in the first quarters with Old Tappan.
Yeah, good run there by the Golden Knights. That was the fullback, Ray Donnelly, who on the very first drive of the game, he had some pretty good runs, but since then he hasn't really done much. And we actually, since then, we've called his name more on defense, I think. But there was another good run there by Donnelly, the fullback.
Old Tappan will have a 1st down at the Patriots' 48-yard line. Motions and on again. Fuller's going to fake the handoff, roll out to his right, and throw a quick dump pass to Zanone. He's going to take it up for the 1st down before he's pushed back by a host of Patriots.
Nice play fake by Fuller there as he sucked in the linebackers on that play and found the open receiver as Dowling was able to get back, scramble back over there and make the play.
Ken Carluccio, a big senior, out on the tackle for the Patriots, assisted by many others. So now we'll be 1st and 10. It seems that Old Tappan will score on this 2nd string Wayne Hills Patriots defense. Zanone in motion once again. He's going to drop back and be sacked at about the 46-yard line. Great sack there by
James Stone.
Who was it?
James Stone, number 87.
James Stone, another senior out on the play, who doesn't see much time, as Dan mentioned before. He was able to penetrate and get the sack.
Well, I think it'd be a good time now to make mention of our future schedule. We will be back with football in, I believe, 2 weeks as the Demorest Norsemen come in on the 24th of October to play the Wayne Hills Patriots. And then the following week, the Fair Lawn Cutters come into Patriot Stadium for a game that could be potentially huge. The Fair Lawn Cutters have been, of course, the Fair Lawn Cutters have been the biggest surprise so far in the NBIL. They're undefeated. They've upset a couple of teams, including Old Tappan. And if they come into Patriot Stadium undefeated on November 1st, and the Patriots are still undefeated, that could be some game, and that could be some upset.
Now, before Demorest comes here to play, the Patriots will go on the road to Pascack Valley to take them on. And
that's gonna be a tough game. Pascack Valley is arguably the 2nd best team.
Definitely, it's a tough game on the schedule. So it goes, we're away at Pascack Valley, then we're home for Demorest, home for Fair Lawn, and then we're away at Indian Hills. And then it's playoff time for these Wayne Hills Patriots, and hopefully a state championship at Rutgers Stadium.
Yeah, Wayne Hills has a pretty tough schedule left in the season. They've had some cupcake games, as they say, with Northern Highlands and Old Tappan coming in here tonight. But they have a very tough schedule the rest of the way. Pascack Valley is a very strong team. Of course, Fair Lawn's undefeated. And Demorest is pretty solid at 2-2. Indian Hills, an underrated 1-2 team. They have good quarterbacks with Mike Marscal-Vetro over there with Indian Hills. So, I mean, I don't think Wayne Hills is going to have any easy games the rest of the year. So they're going to have to come in and week out and prepare for each game.
With the way the season's been going so far and how the players have been playing, I really don't see the Patriots having any problems. I see them going undefeated. I see them winning the state championship. What about you guys?
Yeah, you know what? I've been watching football. I've been watching this year, and in addition to the talent, the passion is there. I mean, the desire to take over the record in the state of New Jersey for consecutive wins, and the desire to be state champions 5 years in a row. You got to remember, these seniors. Well, obviously, of course, all the students here at Wayne Hills High School, but especially the seniors, they've never lost since they've been in high school. And it would be really tough to lose in their senior year.
As Fuller's going to scramble out to the left looking for something, he's going to tuck it once again before he's tackled out of bounds by Brian Dowling. But Dan, as you mentioned, the clock is going to tick down to 0, and that is the end of the game. 48-7, your Wayne Hills Patriots have defeated the Old Tappan Golden Knights. But Dan, as you mentioned, the seniors losing. Currently, the Patriots have the longest winning streak in New Jersey, but to break the all-time record, they'll have to go straight this year, and then next year they'll have to go straight. And their last game, it'll be the juniors this year, their last senior game will break the record for all time. It'll be that'll be their 64th win, which will break the record for all time. But guys, it's 48-7. What are your thoughts on the game?
You know what? That was a really strong performance by the Patriots. I know coming into this game that the Old Tappan Golden Knights were 0-4, and it was known that they weren't playing to their potential this year. And it showed. The Old Tappan Golden Knights, they didn't play very well. But you know what? The Wayne Hills Patriots, they didn't lower the bar. They put in 100%, and it really shows on the scoreboard. It's like a 48-7 lead. In the very beginning, it looked like it could have been a shootout, as it was 14-7 with 2 pretty easy scoring drives on both ends. But in the end, the Old Tappan offense it couldn't handle the defense of the Patriots.
Yeah, absolutely. It was another typical Wayne Hills domination. They took on an 0-4 team that took care of business, which is obviously what they came in to do. I mean, it started out a little shaky at the beginning on defense. I think they had a little bit of trouble figuring out Old Tappan's offense. Old Tappan marched down, scored a touchdown, tied the game at 7. Some people were doubting a little bit, maybe a little tense on that next drive, but Wayne Hills' offense was just way too good. Old Tappan had no chance of stopping them. I mean, they scored on just about every possession, and it was just an all-out domination by Wayne Hills.
Now, guys, you mentioned early in the game, Old Tappan did give Wayne Hills a scare. They said they scored on a pretty long drive after the Patriots scored first. But they gave us a scare, and the Patriots defense wasn't able to shut them down. But now we're going to send it to Mike Botwinick before we close up. Mike, what do you got?
All right, I'm here with Justin Horahan, MVP of tonight's game. Justin, great 3-touchdown performance.
Thank you.
Tell me how you were able to get open so much tonight.
Well, on a couple of plays we were in man coverage, and Quinn audibled out of it into a nice play outside. And then on the one Hail Mary in that end of the second half, it was just a lucky play, I guess. Quinn threw in the perfect spot and just landed right in my hands.
Now, tell me about the play at the end of the first half. What was the play call on that exactly?
It was 94 rail where pretty much 4 receivers run deep, and we just try to chuck it up deep and see whatever happens. Quinn rolled out to the left, and I was on backside. He threw it backside and it just landed in my hands. It was a perfect ball, and he had great protection from the line, so it was just a perfect play, I guess.
Now, you guys have had a great start so far, obviously undefeated still. What do you think you guys need to do to continue this undefeated streak?
Well, next week is going to be a rough game. We have to play very well up front, as they've been doing, but we just got to continue. And our D-backs, we stepped it up a lot tonight. The past couple of games have been rough, including with me. But we stepped it up, and now we're gaining confidence, and we're going to do much better.
All right, thank you, Justin. Congratulations on the win and your good performance.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for that, Mike. And now that's going to wrap up our broadcast where the Wayne Hills Patriots have defeated the Old Tappan Golden Knights 48-7. Now, I would like to shout out a special thanks to John Vitas, Dan Cohen, the Katim brothers, Mike Botwinick, Mr. Berkowitz, and Mr. Hookstraight. Happy anniversary. We wish you many more. That's going to do it for us. This is Brian DeVoe signing off.